And very welcome to sunny Pembroke for the T20. This is Leinster Lightning against the Munster Reds. John Kenny welcoming you to Pembroke today. We're getting a prompt start right at 12 o'clock, which is fantastic. Little wind blowing across the ground from right to left as we look upon it. As Munster are batting today. Kruger and Frost, the two opening batsmen for the Munster Reds. They had the T50 yesterday. A very entertaining game. Today now it's the shorter format of the game. T20 has all the international basically missing from this side as they build up to the World Cup. They're gone off to the Netherlands to play Holland and Scotland in a quadrangular international before they head to the World Cup. So it gives a chance perhaps for the lesser lights to get involved today.
Yes, certainly a chance and opportunity for the youngest players to make their mark and put themselves in the frame for selection even when the internationals are back.
Beautiful day for this, isn't it? The train just trundles past us on our left hand side and we're just about to get on the way. Sam Harbison of Merrion bowling from the far end. We've had the T20 festival here in Pembroke, and we were due to play Oak Hill today as well. It's not quite ready, so they've moved it back to Pembroke today. So anyway, no harm. It's a splendid cricket ground, and this has been the traditional home, really, I suppose, of the interprovincial T20s, and that's hammered straight through the covers for four. First ball, dot ball. Second ball, well, it got what it asked for there. Bit of a loosener. Second ball, first boundary of the morning.
Yeah, Sam Harbison just straying a bit in length, and Brendan Kruger, he's not going to miss out on that. Big space there, and he crashed it through to the clubhouse. First four of the day.
Bit more circumspect from Kruger that time around.
Well, Munster will be feeling good. They had a good win yesterday. The bowling unit put Leinster under a huge amount of pressure. And then the batting of Liam McCarthy at the end saw them home. Might see him up the order today.
And that's nicked and taken. We can hear the big nick in our commentary position here. So he pumps the bowler down the ground for four with a big outside leg edge to the wicketkeeper Seamus Lynch, and he took that quite comfortably. Easy catch for the wicketkeeper. So in the first over, Munster, who you said buoyed by that win yesterday, lose their first wickets.
Yes, just as you talk them up, that happens. Kruger will be disappointed. He had a good game yesterday. He would have wanted more of the same today, but he's made his way back now. And Leinster, well, they'll be delighted with the start. They started with a wicket in the first over in the 50-over game yesterday as well. But they've done the same again this time. This time it's Kruger who makes his way back to the pavilion. And Harbison will be delighted. Leading from the front, I think they call that.
Yeah, just shaped away from him. Forced him into the shot. So the right hand was gone to be replaced by a very tall left-hander.
Nicholas Damgaard.
Nicholas Damgaard.
Well, he scored 17 yesterday, and 3 of them came from boundaries. He's fireworks personified. Looking forward to seeing how he goes today. There's 2 balls to face in this over. And he's not shy about coming down the track to the bowlers and taking them on. And that's just what you need in a T20.
One slip in place. That wind, as you say, is blowing across from as we're looking at it, from right to left. Just maybe shape the ball away from the left-hander. That's certainly what the first slip is in there for the moment. We should go through for a quick single. Shy of the stumps, misses. And he makes his ground, and that ends the first over. 5 for 1, I should say. And Damgaard off the mark.
Well, it's a promising start for both sides, really. Munster happy enough with that cracking boundary from Kruger, but then he departed, and honours even after one.
We did mention that the festival of T20 cricket took place here earlier on at the beginning of the season, and all 4 teams were involved in that. This is the only festival this year. We did have 3 of them last year. There's only one this year, but obviously the full concentration now is on the men's internationals and the World Cup coming up. So, as you mentioned, it gives a chance for some of the squad players to get involved in this T20 competition, but they've changed things around, obviously, coupling the 50-over games with the 20s.
It'll be interesting to see how that works out. The bowler now at the St John's end, Nick Stapleton. He's the overseas player for Pembroke. This is his home ground. He'll be looking to impress in the blue of Leinster.
Well, not the most auspicious of starts, up and over backward point, all the way to the boundary for 4. You did mention that he likes to attack, Dargard, and there's the case in point. Nice shot. Bit of a loosener. Got what it deserved again.
Bowling to the left-hander, just a little bit too short. Dargard not missing out on that one. Just about cleared the fielder there, but he got enough on it.
Swing and a miss. I can see what you mean. He doesn't want to stand around and get the bowlers on top.
No, he's certainly one of the most positive players I've seen at this level. He's willing to take on Danish international as well. He's, I'm sure, torn up a few cricket pitches across Europe with the Danes, and now plays his cricket with the Hills, and here he is in the Interprovincial Series. David Delaney did very well fielding that one. It just popped up off the pitch. The artificial wicket is over there. And yesterday we saw a couple that were rolling along the ground suddenly take a hop. But I saw the ground staff out this morning. Hopefully we'll have improved matters there.
Cries catch it. Just flipped it around the corner. Didn't get everything on that. Bit of extravagant fielding. Keeps it down to 1.
Yeah, there's been a couple of changes on both sides after yesterday's 50-over game. A shorter version of the game has necessitated some changes. Hand has gone off with, as you said, the Irish full side that have gone over to the Netherlands to play Scotland and the Netherlands for a couple of games before they head off to New York. And that's brought Nick Stapleton in. Dylan Lewis of Balbriggan is also in.
Good game for David Delaney yesterday. Here he's back in the consideration for Ireland again.
It was good to see him back out on a cricket pitch. His first game in a couple of months, and he didn't really show too much rustiness.
You consider some of the players that are missing from Leinster Lightning, it's kind of frightening the bit of the depth that they have in their squad. No George Dockrell. Andy Balbirnie's not here. Fionn, as you mentioned. Josh Little's with the IPL. Will join up with the Irish squad for the World Cup after his sojourn there. Barney McCarthy. It's Harry Tector, Tim Tector, Logan Tucker. I mean, a very strong squad. That's the end of the over. 2 down, 10 for 1.
Well, yes, a lot of strong names, internationals missing from this side, but it does give chances. Mod Gill, he was here yesterday. He fell early. He'll be looking to improve on that. And Gavin Hoey bowled very well. Took 3 wickets, had a couple of drop catches. Could easily have ended up with a 5-for. And good to see Ollie Riley in as well, young lad. So it'll be Sam Harbinson again. He's gone short.
Damsgaard really is a tall man, isn't he? If you connected with that, he was into the next county. Bowler just looking to get a bit of movement away from the left-hander and bring in the first slip. Down the track he goes, down. Same result, swing and a miss.
Well, at this stage, Sam Harbinson will be well aware of Damgaard's power if he gets to use those long levers. As you say, a very tall man, when he hits it, it does stay hit. So he'll be trying all the tricks. Harbinson trying to hide the ball away.
This time he connects. There's a fielder underneath it. Oh, it just knocked over his head. They're going to come back for the second. You mentioned big leap. He's also got big long legs. Getting to the other end for two. They're looking perhaps for an overthrow here, but they won't get it. Bit of a false shot.
He kind of got away with that. The fielder thought he was in with a chance, but ended up having to turn and chase. It fell safely to the turf. It wasn't the shot that Damgaard wanted.
Good contest between these two. He's beaten the outside edge of the bat now 3 times in a row and led to that false shot, which went up and over Nick Stapleton's head.
Well, that was good bowling by the Merrion. Harbison, he just changed the pace a bit and put it in a bit short, and Damgaard was through his shot.
He's done exactly the same. I think he may have pulled out of that one. In the power play, first 6 overs, only 2 fielders allowed outside the inner ring.
Well, this has been a super start by the Leinster Lightning. 17 balls gone, last one of the third over. Just 12 runs conceded.
It's in the air. Stapleton underneath it again. Could be a good running catch, but just again over his shoulder. And Damsgaard to run through for 2. There's all action in that over. That ends the third. 14 for 1.
Well, as much as we're talking up Nicholas Damgaard and Annie Frost here, that run rate of 4 2/3, they'll be looking to improve on that. But just as importantly, just the 1 wicket down at the moment. If they can hold on to wickets, try and score some runs during this power play, just 2 players outside the circle, and they're in the traditional positions of third and long leg in front of the pavilion. Stapleton now to bowl his second.
Still with that slip in place. There's lots of swings and misses out there. Particularly bowling to Frost is that famous ridge just in front of the batsman. You can get a bit of lift and movement away. I mentioned Tim Tector there. He's actually playing today. The rest are those internationals away with the Irish squad. Cries of catch it. They won't catch that. Not exactly where he intended it to go. He tried to play that in front of square, but it squirts down towards the third man boundary and rolls over for the second boundary of the afternoon.
Frost will be delighted to get bat on ball and get it away. Just cleared his front foot a little bit and then opened the face of the bat, steered it over the ring. He knew it was safe outside there. Bit of chirp in the field from the Leinster fielders. They know it's going well for them at the moment. Keeping Munster below a run a ball, which in the power play, not the easiest thing to do.
the air as well. Sidhu's underneath it, but again, he won't get it. Again, over his shoulder, like the previous over when 2 balls went over Stapleton's shoulder. So, little luck so far for Munster Reds. They're not exactly scoring at a prolific rate, and they're getting away with a few.
Yeah, they're turning balls that you think are going to be boundaries into twos, and they are keeping the fielders interested. But again, they are well aware that so many players inside the ring in front of the bat.
Beats the outside edge. Just trying to steer that down towards the vacant third man area. In fact, there is a man down there, but missed the outside edge. We just had 3 good days of sunshine. Not so far away from here, up in Clontarf for the T20 Internationals. Pakistan against Ireland. Pakistan winning 2-1. Ireland had their chances, though. Won the first one well. Andy Balbirnie helping to chase down a decent total. But winning the toss was really crucial, I suppose, in those 2 games. Pakistan winning both tosses on the second and third day and put Ireland into bat. Ireland are good chasers. In the end, Pakistan won both of those games very well to take the series 2-1. Again, Cries to catch it. Tector just can't quite control that and bounces away from him, so they're going to run away for 2. And again, look, going Munster's way.
Yeah, when they're going big, they're just about clearing the ring at the moment. They'd want to go bigger themselves. But Leinster will be happy enough that after 4 overs, the score has only moved on to 22 for 1. Just 2 overs left in the power play. And then you'll see the field spread dramatically. Change of bowling now at the nursery end. And David Delaney, it is who comes on. Great to see him back and bowling.
Brother Gareth is part of the Munster squad, not here today either. I missed the last match, actually, Gareth against Pakistan. Precautionary left out of the Irish team because of a groin injury ahead of those games against the Dutch and Scotland. That's a better shot. Stand and deliver that one. Got right on top of it, pumped it through the covers for 4. That's his best shot of the morning.
Well, that was a cracking shot all along the ground. No chances for any fielders on this occasion. Just really got over this one. Opened out that front foot, played it away on the offside. That's more of what we're expecting.
Ooh. Might have been a bump ball. It was straight back at the bowler. Did well, actually got a hand to it.
Yeah, I think from Delaney's reaction at just stopping it, he knew it was a bump ball and just pleased to stop any runs.
Splendid setting here at Pembroke. You'll hear the trains trundling by away to our left-hand side, bringing passengers out from town and back into Dublin city centre and on beyond to places like Malahide, up the coast. Just beats the outside edge once again. Plenty of playing and missing, but that's the kind of art form really of T20 cricket. You're just going to have your chances. You can't just hang around. Score when you can.
You know, when you're only facing 120 deliveries in the innings, you really have to make the most of it. When you go around the world, you see the most incredible scores from 20 overs. I don't think that will be the case here, that we'll see 250s and above.
Cries of weight, little misfield. Allows them to trot through for a single. Takes them now to 27 for 1, Frost on 8. Damgard more aggressive of the 215 off 16 deliveries so far. Penultimate over before the end of the power play. So we're supposed to be in Oak Hill for the game yesterday and today, but Oak Hill not quite ready, so they've moved it to Pembroke. And looking resplendent in the sunshine as Delaney comes in again. And Frost pumps him straight over his head. That's a lovely shot. And they're getting amongst the rungs now.
But nice to see the runs coming with proper cricket shots. It's not just baseball, not just how hard can I hit it. And that was a super shot. I knew there was a gap open there.
Well, we saw when Damsgaard is batting, the two players in the outside the circle were down in the mid-wicket boundary, so he's obviously very strong on the leg side. Well, that was a super shot. Got his foot to the pitch of the ball and just pumped it over the bowler's head. Textbook stuff. Better ball. And wraps up that, the fifth over. 1 to go in the power play. 31 for 1.
Well, a good over for Munster. 9 runs coming from it. A couple of nice fours. Munster will start to feel a bit better. These two now came together in the first over when Brandon Kruger departed. And they will consider that they've played themselves in now. Just 1 over left in the power play. Bit of consultation at the bowler's end. And again, after just 2 overs, Nick Stapleton being replaced. Well, it's not often you see a spinner coming on in the power play, but they obviously feel that this is a plan for Damgard. Didn't lose from the Balbriggan club. Another one who was drafted in for this game today. Straight into the action.
There's a change in the field. They dropped Tim Tector back towards the commentary position at long on, and it nearly worked.
Yeah, having seen so many just disappearing over a fielder's head and dropping for 4, the man had gone back, and quite rightly so for Damgard. Does tend to play in front of the wicket. On this occasion it bounced in front of Jim Tector and brought Ali Frost back on strike.
Another change in the field now as well. Tector's dropped Sidhu back onto the long on boundary for the right-hander, and they've dispensed with the slip. He's gone into backward point. Left hand is coming, or the right hand is coming over the wicket this time.
Well, you could see Frost there trying to give himself room. He realises that although Leinster have 5 players on the offside, they're all inside the ring. If you can get it through the ring, the outfield is just getting quicker and quicker here at Sydney Parade.
And on his offside, it's quite a considerable slope, get it through the infield. That one is caught brilliantly by Sidhu. Fantastic. Well, on 2 occasions in that over, they tried something. One for the left-hander, putting him down to long on, and then for the right-hander, putting him down to long on as well. And Sidhu snaffles the catch, and that's the second wicket down. With the score on 31. Game of chess, move your places around the field. And eventually that one came off. Fine catch as well, low down to his left-hand side. Difficult to take, but Frost goes for 12.
Well, here is that dismissal. His right arm, and then the slog sweep down on one knee. Didn't get enough to clear the field up. And in fact, just behind the nets there, Sidhu took a fine catch low down. Second wicket down with the score on 32. We're still inside the power play. They often say if you lose 3 wickets in the power play, you're in a bit of difficulty. Well, they've lost 2, and there's still a couple of balls to come.
Have been tied down just a little in the power play. Obviously, they're trying to get as many runs as they possibly can before the field is spread. Oliver Metcalf, the wicketkeepers, next in for the Munster Reds. 2 down, in a little pickle here. Slip is going to come in for his first time at bat. Metcalf. Dylan's got himself a wicket in the first over. His first over. Oh, he's bowling around his legs, has he? He has.
Ooh.
Well, he did say 3 in the power play was a pickle. It didn't last long, did he? Tried to sweep one round the corner and bowled around his legs. 2 and 2. And third wicket falls with the score on 32. End of the power play. 32 for 3 now. Isabel Joyce has joined me. And it wasn't a great shot. Around his legs, tried to sweep it. Metcalf out for the duck after just 2 deliveries, and Munster batting first. 32 for 3 at the end of 6. Leinster Lightning very much on top, Isabel.
Absolutely. What a call to bring in Dylan Luce, the right arm spinner, after the loss yesterday in the IP20 Cup. Comes in and takes 2 wickets in his first over. Interesting to see he bowled that one from 24 yards. A good change up. Makes it look like it's going to be a full toss, but Oliver Metcalf, after scoring 49 yesterday, goes for a duck today. Cricket, the great leveller.
0 to 0, isn't that what they say?
Exactly.
0 to 0. Going to be a change of bowling now. And it's only Riley from YM. Of course, no YM no longer. Medium pace, but big, tall right-hand bowler. Just tucks up the Dutch international. Just gets a single. Where do they go from here? 33 for 3 at 6. What kind of score do you think they're looking at now at this stage? They've been pegged back really in the power play.
It looks like a difficult pitch to play spin on. So I think 130, 140 would probably be par. 150, 160. That would be a great score to get to from this point. Plenty more spin to come for Leinster Lightning. Gavin Hoey's leg spin and left arm spin from Amish Sidhu. So they Ben Callett's faces up. Riley goes round the wicket. He's a tough bowler to face. Ollie Riley is such a tall boy. I do say boy because he's so young. Into the pitch bowler. Probably hitting the length that David Delaney would have been better served bowling.
Callett's just closes the gap between himself and the bowler, but the bowler did really well, stretching in a strong hand to stop the ball getting past him and keep it as a dot ball.
He's one of the changes to the team today. Ollie Riley coming in. And the bowler at the other end, Dylan Luce. is the other change.
Be difficult to get the ball out of Dylan Loose's hands, having taken 2 wickets in his opening over.
I'm sure Sam Harbinson is happy to give it to him. But there will be 2 other spinners looking to get their hands on the ball. As I mentioned, Howie and Sidhu both bowled well in that game yesterday in a losing cause. Dylan Loose coming in to bowl to the left-handers in particular.
Fall shot inside edge. Sidhu's down there. Not just the single. We did mention that Pembroke hosted the T20 Festival. It's the only one this year. They had 3 of them last year, so they've mixed things up by playing a 50-over match and then a T20 game between the same 2 sides. Stormont hosted Northern Knights and the Northwest Warriors last week in both a T20 and a 50-over game. And now we got Lightning against Munster Reds in back-to-back 50 and 20-over matches. And that's the way it's going to continue. There was talk about bringing back the 3-day format of the game this year, but with the concentration for the men's in particular to play in the World Cup in June, it was obviously decided to keep it at a 50-over and 20-over side matches throughout the Interprovincial Series. He's gone big, he's gone long, and that's the first maximum of the day. I like that. Straight down the ground it goes for 6 of the day, and they needed that, Munster.
Well, change of angle for Ollie Riley. Dances down, does Damgard. Long levers, gave himself room. And that's what he sent in there to do, to take the attack to Leinster Lightning. That makes his score look a little bit better, 23 from 20. It is the end of 7 overs. I'll just update your score sheet now. So it'll be 40 for 3 after 7.
So Loose, as we suggested, is going to continue now from the commentary box end. Tim Tector down in front of us. Long on.
It's an interesting one from the sideline. So many suggestions being shouted in from the fielders. Sam Harbinson's the captain, but Tim Tector has ideas. Gavin Howie has ideas. The bowler has ideas. It can be difficult sometimes as captain to make your decisions.
What's that they say? One voice, please. One voice. Just a single to Tector. Damsgaard, lovely shot. Not going to stop that. There's 2 players on the boundary, but it splits them. Damsgaard is 6 in the previous over, and now straight across the ground boundary for him.
It's a beautiful looking strike. Holds his shape nicely. Shimmies down. And 2 full. No fielder straight behind the bowler. Needed to get something on that, Dylan Loose, but Damgard beat him.
Damgard now to 27 from 22. That's well bowled. Got a bit of spin, a bit of turn, gripped.
Well, something to keep an eye on is just the landing position for Dylan Loose. The ball that went for 4, he was really tight to the stumps. That one, he was closer to the wide line, and he sometimes comes really close to the outside line of the pitch as well.
It's in the air. Sidhu's underneath it. And it's an easy running catch for him. Well, he took a difficult one down low to his left-hand side. That's the second catch of the day for Sidhu. And the Leinster Lightning captaincy has worked no matter who voice is out there, because they've now taken 4. Damgard walks off smacking his bat, very unhappy, out for 27. 45 for 4, now we're in the 8th.
Well, he fell for the trick there because Dylan Loose pulled the pace off this. Look at the pause here. Just the timing there. It wasn't there. Came across it as well, did Damgard. Looking to play it straighter down to long on. With the turn, takes the outside half of the bat. Not an easy catch, though, for Amish Sidhu. 3 4s and 1 6 in that innings. Damgard goes for 27. Munster Reds in trouble now, 45 for 4.
Yeah, it was a difficult catch. He made it look easy, though, in running. They're not easy catches to take. Ireland senior squad guilty of some real dolly catches dropped in the games against Pakistan. Is something they really need to work on now ahead of the games against Scotland and the Dutch. Want to get a good run, get a couple of victories there ahead of the World Cup in the opening match against India in New York, the early part of next month. Sidhu showing the way there. 2 fine catches.
Jordan Neal now in at number 6 for Munster Reds. So they need to readjust their thinking. How many they're going to look to score here, Munster Reds. 8 overs gone. They're 46 for 4. So somewhat like Leinster Lightning found themselves yesterday. Lots of wickets down with not enough runs on the board and early in the game as well.
You were on commentary on those Ireland international matches against Pakistan. What did you reckon, 2-0?
I thought it was good viewing overall. There's the sheet for today. Damgard, the main aggressor, but he's just lost his wicket. So 2 new batters out at the crease, Khalid and Neil. Yeah, I thought that Pakistan showed a lot of respect to Ireland because the standard in the team is really good. I thought the plans were good for Ireland as well. The last day, just the middle to lower order didn't fire, but they're not going to fire every single time. 2 out of 3 games for them to pump that score up is really good. Good percentage of games. Quick single now. Seamus Lynch can't affect a run out. Good communication from Neil. Sorry, Callitz it was that called the single, but Neil took the single that was called through. You were at most of those games as well.
I was at all 3, yeah. It's fine margins in T20 cricket, we know, and some of those catches should have been taken, may have changed the course of the game, especially in game 2 when Pakistan were 13 for 2. But you're right, the one thing that we found is the respect that Pakistan showed to Ireland. Watching a round-table discussion on Sky Sports, Niall O'Brien was making the point yesterday, this is a very good Ireland team, and if you don't respect them, then you could be in trouble. Ireland obviously have to bring an A game all the time when they're playing against some of the top sides, and they certainly will have to do it against the mighty India at the World Cup. But they are capable of big results in T20 cricket. They seem to be assembling a decent squad.
Something that was mentioned was the fast bowling stocks. Who are the next ones in? Were the questions being asked? Well, hopefully in the future, Ollie Riley looks pretty consistent. Tall guy as well. As he gets stronger, maybe he can get even quicker. He might be one to watch come the next couple of years.
He continues now from the far end, bowling around the wicket. Oh, it's well bowled. Forces the batsman into prodding outside the off stump. Yeah, it'd be a good nick to nick that.
Well, a couple of dot balls, and Callitz decided to try and change something. Came at the ball, and that was the one that nipped away. Bit of movement off the pitch.
This is good bowling. Dot ball is very important in this format of the game. It'll tie batsmen down and perhaps force them into playing shots they don't want to. Changing the field now, they're bringing up the third man into the circle.
Yeah, all 4 fielders on the leg side on the boundary cover as well.
Now there'll be well happy with that. 4 dot balls in a row. In fact, it's maiden. Sorry, my apologies. 1 off the first ball, so 5 dot balls. 47 for 4 now after 9.
Yeah, brilliant over. He's bowled really well from the nursery end, put pressure on. That means wickets can be taken from the other end, the St. John's end. There'll be a change in bowling, though. Dylan Luce has had the ball prized out of his hands. And Gavin Hoey will get his first bowl of the day. 3 for 7 for Dylan Luce, a brilliant spell coming into the team today. And Ollie Riley, just the 9 runs from his 2 overs so far. Another wicket as well to Sam Harbinson. He took the early wicket. So Munster Reds behind the 8 ball here, 47 for 4. Neil and Callets both on 2 out in the middle.
Yeah, early in their innings. Hoey, Pembroke player, playing at home ground. Beautiful day. No threat of rain or anything like that. For a beautiful couple of days in Dublin for the internationals and now the Interpros. That's a good start. Beats the outside edge, oohs and ahs around the ground.
Well, there's the slip in place, and you can see why. Pretty sharp chance, but just about managed to miss the edge there, did Neil.
First single in 7 deliveries. Shows the pressure that the Lightning are exerting on the Munster Reds.
That was a chastening loss in the 50 over format yesterday, so Leinster Lightning coming out with renewed vigour. They'll want to get back into the winning ways today.
Combination of left and right hand batsmen. Changing the field as well as 3-4 on the leg side now.
Well, he wants to get the exact placement of his. He's almost got 2 third men there. It's like a very backward point and a third in place for that googly that we know he has in the locker. Callis giving himself way too much room there, looking to hit through the offside.
He was nearly back on his ankles actually when he tried to play that shot. Speared in at the wickets, but left them very exposed. Tries the same thing, backing away. Pressure building.
Well, there have been so many dot balls in the last few overs that Callets and Neil will be sweating on a boundary or even just a single. It's just sticking to his googly to the left-handers here, Gavin Hoey.
Not worried about the spin, just firing them in. Callets is backing away all the time. Last 3 deliveries hasn't got bat on ball at all. Ooh, he got away with that one. Stepped in front of his stumps. Don't know, did he get anything on that? In fact, it's leg buys and a welcome 4. Doesn't matter what way they come for the Munster Reds. Past 50 now. That ends the 10th over. So Munster batting 52 for 4. Didn't lose with 3 of those wickets and fortuitous.
Well, if you can't score it with the bat, you'll take it when it comes off the body. It was not the shot that, or not the outcome exactly that he was expecting, but definitely the one he was hoping for. Halfway through their innings now, Munster Reds just about crossing the 50 mark, 52 for 4. And, well, Oliver Riley will continue from the nursery end.
It's his 3rd over. You did mention the men. It must have been very disappointing to see Ireland go to the women's qualifying, that defeat to Scotland. We'll put that in a second. That's in the air. There's nobody down there. Should go all the way to the boundary for 4. And a welcome one as well. So they got a previous delivery. Went away for 4-leg buys. This one off the bat. Fairly flew away too.
Yeah, it takes the bottom hand through the shot. It takes it from outside off, a little bit too short from Ollie Riley. It's Pretty safe shot as well with mid-on inside the ring. So 4 to Neil.
Oh, outside edge, no slip. It's going to go for 4 as well. Well, they've been tied down until this point, but that's 12 runs now in the last 3 deliveries.
Absolutely. They've had plenty of luck in those 3. This one as much luck as any of the others. Big edge, takes it past Seamus Lynch. It very much is a case of any way that they'll come, you'll take them. Because they've been really tied down for a number of overs now. Munster Reds, so 12 runs in 3 balls, valuable in the context of the game in particular.
Neil facing. This time got a ball on the leg side, just pushed it into the leg side, no run. A quick mention that Ireland losing to Scotland, the women's, that was first chance we got a chance to talk to you about that. That must be very disappointing from a team that looked well placed to get to the final and qualify for the World Cup.
Well, it's heartbreaking for them. Just one game, meaning that they got knocked out, having gone unbeaten in the tournament. It's one of the most difficult tournaments to qualify for because of that. You can kind of get away with one loss in the group stages, which Scotland did have. They had a heavy loss against Sri Lanka in the group stages, and then Ireland just had a blip in the semi-final and all of a sudden you're out. So that's cricket for you. In a particular game, you can just have a bad day, but unfortunately for Ireland, it was the wrong day to have the bad day. They did fight back with the bat. Arlene Kelly and Leah Pole did well to give Ireland something to defend, but Scotland, once they knew what they needed to get, they kept it within their grasp the whole way. Didn't give Ireland a chance at all.
It's up and over. It should go for 4-2. Sidhu won't cut that off. Runs have started to flow now. Have been circumspect for so long, losing those 4 wickets. It's another boundary to the Reds.
3 in this over from Ollie Riley. It's his 3rd over in a row. Usually say in T20 cricket that's too many. Nothing to do with getting tired, it's just about the batters getting the measure of you. Hasn't been convincing from Neil. 2 of those boundaries have come off the outside edge. That's T20 cricket for you.
A batsman's game, they say. T20 cricket. Just ease down the ground for a single. That'll wrap up the 11th. 65 now for 4. Munster batting against the Leinster Lightning. Just to finish that point about the Irish women's team, the one thing they have in their favour is that it's still a pretty young squad, even though the likes of Laura Delaney's gone past 200 caps. It's still a very, very young squad, so if they can keep their heads, there is qualifications to come in other tournaments as well, but obviously that's a very disappointing one. It's going to take a long time for them to get over.
Absolutely, but they have the championship to look forward to. Sri Lanka and England visiting Ireland later in the summer.
And that's the full England team as well. They were talking about sending the Lionesses, but it's the full England team as well, which is fantastic. I think it's 5 games and it's 3 50 overs and 2 T20s.
Well, they can send whomever they like, but they'll be representing England, so we might see people rested, but it's very much England versus Ireland because it's in that championship. Gavin Hoey continuing.
Oh, nice stop. That was cracked. They might come back for the second here. Tector running in from the boundary. Can't prevent the second. That could well have been 4.
A good stuff from Dylan Luce there, an extra cover. He couldn't get to his feet though as he palmed that away. They did run 2. Some excellent communication there.
Can Sidhu cut this one off? Yes, he can. And he does a little pop pass to Tector, who's got a fantastic arm. Just goes over the bowler's head down to the wicket-keeper. That's good work between those 2 down there on the boundary.
Absolutely, and it's not easy when you're coming together for Leinster because obviously you're playing your club cricket with different people and then you come into Leinster teams, you have to communicate with different players all the time. So those kinds of things are not a given. Amir Sidhu made good eye contact with Tim Tector, who was ready for the palm off.
Whipped into the leg side. There is lose down there. Little misfield, but they can't run through for second. It's the sound of summer around here, isn't it, Isabel? You can hear mowers going on in the background and cleaning going on, and see the train going by, birds over the head. Really is a fine sight here at Pembroke. Slip in place now again.
Yeah, lots of work going on to beautify an already beautiful Pembroke Cricket Club. People up on the roof fixing signs and, as you said, mowing, hedge trimming.
.69 for 4. Come to the end of the 12th over. It's in the air. That's going to go all the way for the second maximum. Down on one knee. Beautiful shot. Up and over the bowler's head.
Over pitched from Howie, but really good hand speed from Neil to get this one aerial because it was really full. Got his front leg out of the way to dig this one out, really. It's been too full on occasion here, Gavin Howie. Not giving the ball the opportunity to turn.
Tector's gone a little finer in front of us at long off as a result of that. Neil on 23 from 14. And that wraps up the 12th over then. 74 for 4 now. Munster batting. Neil on to 23 from 14. Callets, well, just the 3 runs from 15. That's not good enough. Callets has been playing and missing. There's your Munster Reds scorecard.
Yeah, Neil is on the attack now. 24 from 15. He's been the one hitting pretty much all of the boundaries that we've seen of late. One boundary was a leg bye from Callets. So he's got to recognise now, Callets, get off strike and hand it over to Neil. 6 bowlers used, just the one for Delaney, 2 each for everyone else. Riley's had 3. That third one was expensive with the 3 boundaries in it. 3 wickets for Luce and 1 for Harbinson. Still no Sidhu, but he's going to come on now from the nursery end, the left arm spinner. So many options for Sam Harbinson. Tim Tector also bowls a bit, but I don't think he'll get a go today.
Sidhu has been involved in this game with 2 catches in the deep. Just a little adjustment in the field as well. In fact, not adjustment to the field, adjustment to the side screen on the far side, and one of the Leinster players down there. Pushing the side screen back into where it should be.
Yeah, there's a lot of work to be done down there.
Sidhu on the mark straight away. Neil on strike, 26 now from his 16 deliveries faced. Should get a single from that, and that'll bring on Callets to bat. As Isabel suggested, he can't hang around here now. He's only got the 3 from the 15 deliveries faced so far. Get to the other end and hand the strike to the man who's been bashing into all parts of the boundaries in the last couple of overs.
Well, it looks like his strength is into the leg side, long on, pretty straight mid-wicket and a square leg on the boundary. So he needs to be careful of that sweep shot, Sidhu. He can't err in his line.
Callets gets bat on ball there. And he does exactly what he suggested, trots down to the far end and hands it all over to Neil.
I think he'll be pleased to see the left arm spinner on. Not as threatening as, say, Luce as the right arm spinner, or Gavin Hoey with his googly.
That's in the air. Now they're going to have to look for that in Mrs. Riley's kitchen. That's gone straight over the fence at the far end. That's a big hit. So having just taken the single in the previous ball, handed the ball over to Neil, and Neil went, "Thank you very much and good night."
Well, he's very much taken the pace off here, Sidhu, but far too full. And with Neil playing the way that he is, there's an easy 6 for him. They won't find that ball, not just yet, not until Mrs. Riley looks for it anyway. So the usual business of finding a ball that looks somewhat similar. Early Black, the umpire there. That's got the ball from Mark Hawthorne, the third. Our other umpire today, Johnny Kennedy.
Two white balls used in unison on either end. You must bring out a ball that's similar in degradation compared to what you've just been bowling. I get a brand new one. Oh, well, he gets pumped for 6 of the previous ball. This one pitches just in front of the leg stump and just takes the leg stump bail off, and that's the end of Neil. Good knock from him though, 33 from 19, and the wicket falls the score on 84. Neil gone for 33, 84 for 5 now, coming to the end of the 13th over.
3 4s and 2 6s in that innings. A quicker one after he'd taken the pace right off Amish Sidhu. He's bowled a much quicker one here. The turn does for Jordan Neal, who was completely squared up by that delivery. Sidhu didn't seem too perturbed by that 6, did he?
Yeah, this is his reply.
2 left-handers out in the middle now. Liam McCarthy, who looked really assured out in the middle in yesterday's game, saw Munster Reds home. The railway fast bowler, showing that he's very much an all-rounder.
It's some club cricket with Terry Muir now at Railway. Liam McCarthy wearing 33 comes into bat with his team at 84 for 5. This is the last ball then of the 13th over. I'll take my leave you in a few moments' time, and Isabel will wrap things up to take us to the last 7 overs of the Munster Reds innings. So no run of cruise from that. At the end of 13, Munster 84 for 5.
Well, 8 runs in that over. Thank you, John Kenny, for now. Welcome back to Craig Senior, who's been watching in the wings since the power play ended. A handy little partnership there for the 5th wicket, 39 between Callitz and Neil. With 7 overs left for Munster Reds. Things looking a lot better than they were, Craig, 45 for 4. That partnership of 39, very useful for Munster Reds.
They certainly needed something in the middle. Wickets were falling too quickly, and if anything, it's going to delay their final assault on the Leinster bowling with only those wickets in hand.
Work to do in the deep, but Loose can't cut it off. Well, Callitz was struggling somewhat, but we have seen he's keen on the sweep. Gets one out of the middle as Gavin Hoey's first delivery of his over goes for 4.
Well, Hoey's first over only went for 1 off the bat. He's doing a good job. It used to be a time when spinners and T20 didn't seem to go together, but how the tables have turned, and especially here on this wicket in Sydney Parade, use of spinners absolutely vital.
Calls of 2 off the bat, but it's going to be a tight one. Really good running. Callitz, from the moment he hit it, he was keen to come back for a second. David Delaney, well, he's got a good throw, but he didn't quite release it quickly enough.
Well, good to see the positive nature of the Munster batting. Even with 5 wickets down, they're still looking to push runs and turn 1s into 2s.
Callitz forces Hoey to bowl much shorter because of those sweep shots, but there's protection in the deep. 2 left-handers now out in the middle for Gavin Hoey to contend with.
Two left-handers for Hoey to bowl at. Leg spinners traditionally turning the ball into the left-hander.
Punches it down the ground. Sidhu will cut that one off, just the single. So good over so far for Munster Reds. Couple of deliveries remaining. They've already scored 8 in this one.
And that's the rate they kind of need at this stage. Boundary in and over and pick up the singles and 2s and get it up above 8, 10, 12 and over.
Much quicker delivery. They're going to take the single. needed to hit at the non-striker's end, but doesn't manage it. So another single to the total, as it looks like Gavin Hoey is trying to get out of this over without too much more damage. Changing the field, square leg comes in. Point, cover and long off on the boundary. It's launched high. Tim Tector comes underneath it, sets himself, takes the catch. So a short stay for Liam McCarthy out in the middle. Didn't get hold of that one at all. Gavin Hoey, an expensive over from him. 9 from it, but gets the wicket off the final delivery.
Well, the Leinster players are delighted with that. Another wicket down. And again, it just means that Munster will have trouble taking on all comers. They certainly want to bat the 20 overs. They certainly want to be getting over 120, 130. But they are running out of bats to do it with. And this is a problem that they're faced with. Here's Hoey's delivery. It was picked up, but got far too underneath it. Tim Tector had a long time to think of this one. Took it right in front of the eyes. And McCarthy has to depart. He had such a super knock yesterday, taking the Reds to victory in the 50-over game. But today, just the 1 run. And that's cricket for you.
Absolutely. Well, we saw Oliver Metcalf go without scoring today after 49 yesterday. Such a funny game that we play and that we watch cricket. Changing bowling now. Dylan Luce will come on to bowl his right arm off spin.
Well, 3 for 7 from his 2 overs so far. No surprise. The skipper has turned back to him. Again, use of the spinners. We just saw a couple of overs from Harbinson and Stapleton. 3 from Ollie Riley. But there's been a lot of spin employed here by the Lightning.
Well, looks to go back on the back foot there. Does Ben Callitz. Carson McCullough is the new batter in the middle for Munster Reds at number 7. He's at the non-striker's end. Carson McCullough's had enough of that. Launches it into the leg side. 6 more of the best.
Well, that takes Munster to the brink of 3 figures. Carson McCullough, well, he was going to let loose settle against him, and he pumped him into the garden. And the busiest man on the ground here at Sydney Parade often is the third umpire, and that's the case today. Yes, that one that went straight a couple of overs ago, that's 6. O'Rourke's house.
Okay, so
Anne O'Rourke, mother of Breen, and she'll certainly throw it back anyway.
that's good. It was good to be on good terms with the neighbours. Oh, a wider delivery from Luce, trying to keep it away from the sweeping arms of Callitz. That looks to be his favourite shot. Much fuller this time. Work to do in the deep, but he's smashed that one wide of long off. Great power on display. As Swapnam Mudgill, he can't cut that one off. 6 wide, 4 now in this over from Luce.
Just sheer power. Saw the width, recognised it, powered it away. Now Munster past the 100 mark. With 5.5 overs left. Well, even a runner ball is going to get them up to 135 mark. And then they'll want to go bigger than that. But again, their difficulty is the loss of those 6 wickets.
A big long conversation between Sam Harbinson and Dylan Luce as they figure out how they're going to move forward. It would have been handy if he'd been able to stop that one, Dylan Luce. This is a very expensive over as he's come on from the other end, the nursery end. He hasn't been nearly as successful as he was from St. John's. 15 now from the over so far. Well, just a single then to follow up that boundary. And Carson McCullough on strike now, the right-hander. Just the one delivery remaining in the 15th. Things looking a lot better for Munster Reds now. As Callitz, who was struggling early in his innings, 2 from 12 he was at one point. He's overtaken the balls faced, so that'll be happy reading for him now. Everyone out on the leg side, so it looks to see can they come back for a second. They decide against it.
Well, certainly the best over of the game so far for the Munster Reds. Plenty of runs.
Yeah, 17 from it, and you can see that from the graphic there. A Manhattan real skyscraper on the 15th. 17 is the most expensive over by far. They staged a comeback after the middle overs where they lost plenty of wickets and were just rebuilding.
Well, in the 7 overs after the power play, well, they were 32 for 3 in the power play. Those 2 wickets with the last 2 deliveries of the power play really putting Munster in a difficult position. But since then they've added another 78 runs. And probably feeling a bit better on the sideline now.
Gavin Hoey will bowl his final over of his spell now from the St. John's end. Opting to keep a slip in place. It's as much a run-saving option as anything else because he's likely to get an edge from the right-hander. Looks to play the reverse sweep and, well, doesn't look too graceful as he tries to make sure he keeps his ground there, Carson McCullough. He's lucky he didn't go tumbling backwards. A much fuller delivery as McCullough hands the strike over to Callitz. Final 5 overs. Still 4 wickets in hand. They did lose so many there just at the end of the power play and then leading up to the 10th over. But 4 wickets in hand doesn't look so bad when it's only 4.4 overs left. So they can continue to attack here, Munster Reds. 10 and over will get them close to 150 from here. Point cover long off, long on and deep mid-wicket, the 5 fielders out.
Clever play there by the batsman. Realised it wasn't a ball to have a flail at, but still took the single. Stop balls that Munster are wanting to avoid at this stage.
It's been an entertaining over with Carson McCullough again managing to keep his feet, but a quicker delivery from Gavin Hoey as he recognised the fact that McCullough was going to try something different. And he looks for the sweep. They'll appeal, but it was heading way outside off stump.
Yeah, not too much of an appeal. Nothing from Hoey himself. Hoey won't mind that.
1 delivery remaining. Opts to bowl the shorter, quicker one. Call of 2, but no real chance of it. Sam Harbinson does the fielding. So Gavin Hoey finishes his spell. 1 for 24 in his 4. 16 overs gone. Munster Reds 114 for 6. Just the 4 runs in that over. So just putting the brakes on Gavin Hoey with that over.
Well, it's exactly what the Leinster Lightning were looking for after the previous Dylan Lewis over went for so many. It looks like he's going to be replaced now. It looks like it will be David Delaney to come on at the nursery end. So the return of pace. We'll see how that changes things. Will the ball fly off the bat just that much quicker? Or will they get pinned down by Delaney's speed?
Well, I hope he's going into death bowling mode here, David Delaney. He's got a good Yorker, has a number of different slower balls as well. What he can't do is bowl length, because with his extra pace, he'll find the boundary with relative ease. Callets and McCullough, Callets in particular, will be looking to use that pace. He's on strike now. He's the man that Munster Reds will be wanting to face the bulk of the remaining 24 deliveries that they have in the locker. Third inside the ring, fine leg, square, long on, long off, and cover are the 5 out. So that's a bold, tight line. In fact, they're going to change that field. Third goes out and fine comes in.
Munster will be eyeing the finish line here now. They'll be looking for 150 in that sort of vicinity.
Edge, big edge, and that flies away. Well, he's had some luck in this innings, Callets, but the pace with which he's tried to hit that ball means it flies for 4 off Delaney's first ball of the over.
Well, Delaney was aware of the possibility, and he'd moved third back to the fence, but that one was just fine enough to get past the fielder. And if you're going to flash hard, it takes the edge. It's almost certainly going to run away here at Sydney Braid.
He's just having a think about his field here, David Delaney. Squares in. Good thinking from McCullough. Goes for the ramp, just about bounces before the rope. So it's back-to-back boundaries.
It certainly seems like Munster have decided now's the time to go. Willing to take on the pace and use the pace, and that's exactly what happened here. The fielder had been brought into the ring, and he clears him quite handily. Just one bounce into the fence, and suddenly Munster's score is picking up.
I'll take a single to follow up those 2 boundaries. So 123 for 6 now, Munster Reds. Callets, well, he's played a gem of a knock, hasn't he? 38 from 30. McCullough will be trying to get in with some boundaries of his own. He's been out there for 5 deliveries so far. He's had a bit of a look.
That's great for Callets. He was left out of the 50 overside yesterday, and he's certainly putting his hand up now.
Well, he drops that one short, Delaney, and it's hit high and handsome by McCullough. Well, he said he'd want to get in on the act. He does so with style with his first maximum of the day.
Well, that was a beautiful shot. Picked that one up, took it on length. You'll see here. Delaney just a little bit too short. Batsman onto it straight away. Powered it away for a maximum.
Well, too short again, and it's back-to-back boundaries. And in fact, back-to-back sixes for Carson McCullough. We said he'd had 5 balls to have a look. He's not looking anymore. He's on the charge.
And exactly the right time, and exactly when Munster wants to see that score accelerating away. And That one heading off to the groundsman's shed. It's amazing how quickly it can turn. At one stage, 46 for 4.
Another short delivery in the air. Fielder comes underneath, and a tame dismissal in the end for McCullough. A couple of sixes, very handy for Munster Reds, but he can't continue on the way he was going. Nick Stapleton takes the easiest of catches to take the 7th wicket of Munster Reds. McCullough goes for 14 from 7, 200 strike rate, and this is how he went.
Well, Delaney, again, going in short, and he pulled out of the shot. You could just see he didn't follow through, and as a result, it screwed off the side of the bat, and Nick Stapleton took the simplest of catches. 7 wickets down, new batsman to the middle. That's what Leinster would have been looking for.
What they won't have been looking for was 19 runs from the over. McCullough goes for 14, 2 sixes in that innings. Munster Reds 135 for 7 now in 17 overs, so very much looking for that 150, 160, which I think will be a competitive total on this pitch. Takes a bit of turn. We've seen some seam movement as well. Josh Manley, now the Munster Reds captain, coming out into the middle. Number 9 for Munster Reds. 18 deliveries remaining, so the kind of bite-sized innings that you don't mind as a number 9. Another left-hander. Amish Sidhu will replace Gavin Hoey from the St John's End. Calls of 2 from Manley. They will take it as Dylan Luce's shoe comes off for some reason as he tries to cut that one off.
Stud sticking in the turf rather than it being very gloopy out there. It's nice and dry now. There was a bit of moisture this morning.
Christopher Freitas has a funny bounce, and that'll be another 2 off Sidhu's over. It is a big boundary out there, so tough to keep it to 1, but Sidhu looking disappointed that his fielder's not backing him up in the field.
Well, this is a long way down to that railway line side, and if you hit it right, should be 2 there.
Well, this one goes straight to Luce, who again just lets it hit the body, but it was hit well enough that he can recover and keep it to 1. A little bit of a stare from Sidhu, wondering why his fielders can't pick the ball up. It is a rugby field during the winter over there, so it can be a little bit difficult to field out there early in the season in particular.
Well, Dermot Dunner and his crew have done a super job. It's certainly the best looking rugby pitch in Leinster, I'd suggest.
100%. It's almost non-existent, you can't tell at all, but years and years and years of rugby means that it's not quite as carpet-like as the other side of the field. Right-hander on strike now, Manley. Pace is taken right off by Amish Sidhu. Dylan Luce thought about throwing at the non-striker's end as Callitz was keen to get back on strike. No wonder, 43 from 33 now. And Sidhu very much preferring to bowl to the right-hander.
Well, he's doing so well as well. Manley just new to the crease. He's going to have a swipe at something soon.
Well, they'll keep the strike, which I think Leinster Lightning will be happy with as a single closes out that Sidhu over. 6 from it. And after 18, Munster Reds 141 for 7.
Just 2 overs left now. 140 has been passed. So, and still with those 3 wickets in hand. But there is the Reds card. You can see Callitz, he's done a fine job. Damgard came in, hit 27 off 24. And himself and Ali Frost put together a partnership. But then they were afforded a few cheap wickets. But now Callets is in with Manley, and with 2 overs to go, I think they'll be targeting 160. 19 from these last 2 overs, perhaps even better than that.
Yeah, these 2 overs can have a big impact on the game. Not least the score that Munster Reds can amass, but also the momentum that one team or the other will bring into the second half of the game. If they can bowl some tight overs, take some late wickets, Leinster Lightning will have that momentum. Munster Reds, if they can score heavily, they will. Sam Harbinson, the captain, coming back on from the nursery end. He opened up the bowling, bowled a good spell up top. Starts with a wide, bowling around the wicket.
Well, you can see he's trying to hide the ball away from Manley. Doesn't want to give him anything free to swing his arms at, but also extras. That's nice, tucking Manley up. He could only push it down the ground.
Well, third and fine inside the ring. So bowling around the wicket, bowling stump to stump is Sam Harbinson. The worry for him now is we've seen Callets play that ramp shot. Third and fine inside the ring. Will he change his field?
Will Callets notice where the fielders are, and will that influence his choice of shot?
Goes across the stumps, and he wanted to hit that one to Timbuktu. Had plane tickets, that ball. He wouldn't have found that in a month of Sundays had he connected, but he didn't connect, so a dot for Sam Harbinson.
Gold dust dot balls now.
Looks to try and ramp it. All he can do is kick it, but kick it to the boundary. So good execution from Harbinson, but the luck doesn't go his way as 4 leg byes signalled by Rowley Black.
Callets and Manley especially, the skipper, won't mind where the runs come from. Just another boundary. As you say, using his football skills as much as the bat in his hand.
Point cover, long off, long on, and mid-wicket out. This time the leg by finds Amish Sidhu at fine leg, or short 45. I do think it could be a good option to drop one or both of third or fine leg for Callets. Bring up point, maybe one of the straights. Force him to hit a more difficult shot.
Well, the shorter boundaries are the straight ones here, and he's been looking to clear those ones more so than the square boundaries.
Good short delivery from Sam Harbinson. Good thinking from him. One for the over. Josh Manley seemed a bit surprised by that delivery. He looks to hit this one long, but it doesn't clear the fielder. What a catch that is, an extra cover. David Delaney watched that all the way over his head. Those are really difficult catches to take. He didn't take his eye off it. And Josh Manley, as he tries to contribute to the total, well, had a big swing, but it took the outside half of the bat. And Munster Reds lose their 8th.
Well, it is the pursuit of runs that is everything now. I don't think even Munster will be too concerned at losing a batsman, just with 19 overs gone now. 6 balls remaining and still 2 wickets. But Manley had decided he had to hit something, and he got underneath this. Delaney making a lot of ground, and you can see he's not quite in position, and what a super catch that is. That's how to keep your eye on the ball and keep your hands wrapped around it. And that is an absolutely super catch. Sees the end of the Munster captain, Josh Manley. Munster now with 1 over to go, 148 for 8.
It was somewhat of a free hit, that one. He didn't want to hit a single. Josh Manley wants his partner, Harrison McCullough, on strike. Mike Frost will do everything he can to keep his partner on strike as well. He comes out at number 10 for Munster Reds. Just thinking about that catch, I love the way that David Delaney's tried to go with two hands for as long as possible, and only at the last second, when he knew he couldn't reach with two hands, he's stuck out the right arm and plucked it out of the air.
Yes, there's been some good catches in this innings. Sidhu has taken a couple of nice ones right down on the boundary.
Nick Stapleton now to bowl the final over from the St John's end. Callett's on 43. It feels like he's been stuck on that number for a while. He'll be itching to get the 7 more to get his half century. He's looking to play an innovative shot, and he seems pretty disappointed not to get the wide, but you move outside off and the wide line goes with you.
As you say, trying to manufacture any sort of shot, get any sort of bat on ball. He's feeling if he can get it past the keeper, the boundary is open.
Yes, third inside the ring. Big full toss mid-off inside the ring as well, and he spotted that, did Callett's. Ben Callett's 47 now.
Stapleton coming round the wicket, but not getting this one to pitch at all. It was just a free hit, really. Stretch the arms and brings up 150 for the Munster Reds.
Well, that's where he meant to bowl it, but just slightly short. You can't be off at all as Callett's brings up his half century in style. 4 followed by 6. Stapleton going for 10 in the first half of his over. 53 for Ben Callett's. 53 from 39 deliveries, and quite the turnaround as his strike rate is 135. He was going at 20% strike rate at one point early in his innings, but he's turned that around. 6 4s and 2 6s in his innings. 3 deliveries remaining to see and just how high he can go. A slower ball from Stapleton. Call for 2, but it'll just be 1.
That was well done by Stapleton. Off-speed delivery. Meant it could only be played into the offside. And that's exactly what he wanted. Callis off strike. 2 balls remaining. I wonder what advice he's just given to Mike Frost.
I think he said, whatever you do, let's just run. I want to hit the last ball. So a good outcome for Leinster Lightning will be if he can miss this delivery. Frost looks to play that past third, and all he can do is help it into the hands of Seamus Lynch behind the stumps.
From where they were early on, one feels the Munster Reds have fought back really well. They're going to set a target of 160 or in excess of that now. 1 ball remaining in this innings.
And another slower delivery finds its way to Seamus Lynch. So 2 dot balls to close out that final over, 11 runs in it. And Munster Reds have elevated themselves to 159 for 8 in their 20 overs, setting a nice round target of 160 for victory for Leinster Lightning.
Well, Munster will be pleased with that. At one stage they were looking to be in a bit of trouble, but now they've managed to get up where they're now setting the Leinster Lightning a target at 8 and over. There is the card, undoubtedly the star, Ben Callett's. As I said, he missed out on the 50 over game yesterday, but he's made up for it today. 54 from just 40 deliveries. Jordan Neal as well did well, 33 from just 19. And the one that certainly I was excited to see this morning, Nikolai Damgard, 27 from 24. And I think that over from Dylan Lewis, the 6 over, where they took 2 wickets, made such a difference. but Munster Reds have fought their way to 159 of their 20 overs. You can see where the partnerships were. Damgard and Frost at the start, Neil and Callitz, and you'll see an awful lot of Ben Callitz down the left-hand side there. There were the various number of partners. McCullough provided him with great support, and even at the end there, Manley and Frost helping Munster reach that total of 159.
7 bowlers used, 2 wickets for Harbinson. He only gave himself 3 overs, and he was miserly. Just 11 runs in his 3 overs. Delaney got 1 wicket but was expensive, going at 15s for his 2 overs. 3 wickets for Luce for just 24 runs, and wickets each for Hoey and Sidhu as they closed out the Lightning bowling. 8 wickets they took. Luce was the destroyer-in-chief, 2 wickets in the 6th over, 3 wickets for him. But Callitz, well, he led the attack back, 54 from 40 deliveries, and Neil, once he got going, he was expansive for his 33 and 19. Handy little knock as well from McCullough, 14, and Damgard looked good for his 27. So after an early wobble, Munster Reds have fought back and set a target of 160. And join us again shortly for the second half, where the Lightning will see if they can chase down 160 for victory. We'll see you again then. Welcome back to Sydney Parade for this IP20 trophy match between Leinster Lightning and Munster Reds. Munster Reds won the toss and elected to bat. They set a target of 160 for Leinster Lightning to chase down to keep their unbeaten run in this competition alive. Leinster Lightning looked very much on top when they had Munster Reds 45 for 4. But a number of players led the fight back. Damgard 27, Ben Callett's 54, Jordan Neal 33, and a quick fire 14 from Carson McCullough helped Munster Reds set a pretty competitive total of 159 for 8 in their 20 overs. So there's plenty of work to be done here by Leinster Lightning. I'm Isabel Joyce, delighted to have alongside me Craig Senior for the beginning of this run chase. Craig, it was a really good fight back from Munster Reds. They've given themselves a chance.
Given themselves a very good chance. It's not the easiest of wickets to score on. We saw that in the first innings, and it was only the last 5 overs where they really got going. Josh Manley now. Well, Munster starting the same way as Leinster did, opening up with the captain. And he starts with a dot ball.
Well, he's bowling to Swapnil Modgill. He made his debut yesterday for Leinster Lightning. Only made 4 on that outing. So he looks in the mood to score today. His partner is Tim Tector at the other end. He made 30 from 20 yesterday before he lost his wicket as well, LBW. 1 slip in place.
Well, Manley will be looking to continue the wicket-taking form he showed yesterday. Picked up 4 wickets at the top of the order. And that left Leinster yesterday with a mountain to climb. He'll be hoping to do exactly the same here.
Absolutely. He took 4 wickets and really put Leinster Lightning on the back foot. He was expensive, though. He at times can be inconsistent with his line and length, so that's something he'll want to put right today. T20, there's not much margin for error.
I was speaking to him just before he took the toss, and he said he's a little bit of a back spasm at times.
That one too straight. Does swing back though, so it manages to cannon into the pad of Tim Tector. Well, fast bowlers, it's kind of a given that you have some kind of pain in your back. If you don't have back pain, you're not a fast bowler.
You're not bending your back properly.
You're not trying hard enough.
Yes. Well, it didn't seem to affect him too much, but he's going to want to try and avoid, as you say, those loose deliveries that cost runs yesterday.
Shorter one to Modgill, chance at the striker's end, but I think Tim Tector was home pretty safe. Zubair Khan it was at 45 that tried to affect the run out.
That's good backing up from Tector. He was wide awake to the opportunity. As soon as the ball came off the bat, he was halfway down the track. Tim Tector has demonstrated some clean hitting already this season. Could be looking to continue in that vein.
Dances down, finds the gap. It was airborne for a while, but manages to find the space between extra cover and mid-off for the first boundary of the Leinster Lightning innings.
That's exactly how Tim Tector's been going this season. He's willing to take on the bowling. On this occasion, yes, it was slightly aerial, but once it got through the ring, it was always going to run away for a boundary, the first boundary of the innings. That's a good start for the Leinster Lightning.
Well, you talk about the form that Tim Tector's in this competition. 69 against the Knights and 54 not out against Munster in the IP20 festival on this very ground not too long ago as well. So he's got good memories of facing Munster Reds in this format. Short, lifted over the leg side. Didn't get all of it, Tim Tector, but he'll come back for 2. Ben Callett's doing the fielding.
Good fielding, chasing out to that boundary, but the fact he had to chase it meant there was an opportunity for the second, and the Leinster Lightning batsmen weren't going to miss out on that. Again, a very positive stroke play from Tector.
There was a no ball as well from Manley overstepping, so free hit coming up for Tim Tector. A big swinging full delivery. Well, Tim Tector didn't seem to expect that at all. He looks crestfallen to miss out, but 9 runs from an interesting Manley over as that first over comes to a close. 10 runs, in fact, as there is one leg by.
Well, good start for the Lightning. 10 off that first Manley over. Now, you'd expect, and it is, going to be Liam McCarthy bowling from the nursery end. Pace at both ends. Modgill now will face McCarthy. He'll be looking to add to his total of 2 so far.
Two wickets from McCarthy in that game yesterday. Yes, our umpires, Johnny Kennedy and Roddy Black. Roddy Black is the standing umpire that you can see in your screen right now. Johnny Kennedy at square leg. Liam McCarthy does swing the ball in. That time swings it from 2 straight, so it'll start out with a wide.
Interesting move from the Munster Reds here. When the Lightning were bowling with pace, they had third man and fine leg back on the fence. Munster Reds have gone with the square boundaries to cover with their 2 men in the power play at the moment.
Gives himself room. Follows him, does Liam McCarthy. Comes off the inside edge, and another sketchy looking single for Modgill.
I think he's going to want the sight screens moving next time he's facing. In fact, they're being moved now.
Yeah, it's surprising not to see Modgill getting them moved sooner. Tim Tector is getting them moved instead.
It was almost like as the bowler was running up, he suddenly realised the sight screen wasn't there. Continued through with the delivery and with the shot.
No slip for Tim Tector, just quite a fine third on the ring. Fine leg on the ring as well, square leg, and covered the 2 fielders out. And another wide. Well, good movement in the air for McCarthy, but he's just getting his line wrong here.
Well, these are the sort of free runs that Munster would want to avoid giving away. Extra deliveries as well.
And those wides are kind of a free hit as well. Tim Tector just trying to get anything on that because fine leg inside the ring. Much better. That's where he wants to be. Full and straight at Tim Tector. He was the one who managed to get him out LBW yesterday. Liam McCarthy had one that moved off the pitch and hammered Tector in the front pad. That's in the air, and it's been made a meal of on the offside by Ali Frost. He seemed to lose it in the air. Well, you always think maybe the fielder that's on the boundary has a better opportunity coming into the ball. Carson McCullough didn't make his way in, and Tim Tector gets a life.
Yeah, he was most fortunate there. Tries to play it inside out. Too much air, not enough distance, and it was there for the fielder, but it just couldn't get right, couldn't get balanced, and it fell to the turf. Tector, will he make the most of this life now?
Oh, another half chance. can't really call it a chance because it didn't reach mid-off. But 2 deliveries in a row, Tim Tector hasn't looked comfortable.
You see this half-hearted shot, and it falls just in front of the fielder. Tim Tector, well, he stood there waiting for the worst possible news. It wasn't to be. And a wry smile from Liam McCarthy. He knows how close he was to getting him again.
Very odd shot from Tim Tector. Well, that one's not too odd. He gets good connection on it, but square leg on the boundary, so Tim Tector will be happy to be down the non-striker's end so he can catch his breath and have a think about what's been going wrong. Slip will come back in now for Mod Gill. Six in the over so far, 2 wides in it, one ball remaining. Moves across the stumps, Mod Gill. He's trying to lift the ball over that short fine. Just gets a half bat on it. So a single to close out the second over. 7 runs from it. After 2, Lightning are 17 without loss.
Promising start for the Lightning. They have given a couple of chances, but they've been exceptionally difficult chances. Fielder's not quite getting to the ball. But the Leinster Lightning, well, they needed 8 and over. After 2, in the power play, they'll want to push on, take advantage of the fact that the field is mainly up, apart from 2. It's Manly to bowl the 3rd over.
Steered into the leg side. 3 fielders on the leg side, mid-wicket, short 45 and square leg, so no mid-on. Josh Manley backing himself so that he won't over-pitch.
Big gap on that leg side.
This one hitting Tim Tector.
Well, the fact it didn't run away too far allowed them to get through for the single. And again, the quality of the running, step up from what you'd normally see.
He looked a little bit surprised there, didn't he, Tim Tector? You can expect short bowling here from Josh Manley. Deep backward point and deep square leg are the 2 fielders out, so that's an indication along with the no mid on. Well, Gill goes well across the stumps, but again a Leinster Lightning fielder is just hit with the ball, and that's an errant throw from Zubair Khan. He opted to try and hit the stumps of the non-striker's end, but he's miles wide, and Brandon Kruger at mid-off had absolutely no chance to cut that off. So, real bonus runs for Leinster Lightning.
The throw comes in, nobody at the stumps. The bowler most unhappy.
Well, we're going to have a concussion check here as Swapna Mudgill hit as well as Tim Tector there. They're going to check the helmet and make sure that it's intact.
Quite rightly, player welfare, absolute priority. Any hit to the helmet these days necessitates a check of the helmet.
It's hard to believe that players used to play without helmets, isn't it? You know, you see those highlights from back in the day as well, where there was no grill on the helmet, and
or the first helmet Dennis Amiss wore in World Series cricket was a motorcycle helmet, because that was all he could find. I've seen skateboard helmets, but now cricket seems to have found the way it needs to be.
Absolutely, I couldn't imagine playing without a helmet, no matter who's bowling. Another short delivery, but this one misdirected by Josh Manley, who's had, well, it's 5 leg byes. So doesn't go against him, but 25 now inside the third over. Leinster Lightning off to a flyer here. Those overthrows really not helpful to the Munster Reds' cause.
Well, 160 is a competitive total, but if you're going to give away 20, 30 extras, it suddenly becomes a very manageable total. That's lovely shot down the ground from Tector on this occasion. Again, no mid on.
A beautiful looking shot. He held his shape, didn't he, Tim Tector? He knew there was nobody out there, so all he had to do was get something on the ball. Too straight, too full from Josh Manley, who as soon as he bowled that knew that he'd got it wrong with the field that he had set. Slip comes out now, so they'll put in a mid-on as quite a square mid-wicket. Backs away here, followed by Manley, and nothing going his way as that one drops short of the fielder in the deep.
We saw very similar during the Munster innings. Top order were able to find gaps in the field even when they went aerial. And Tim Tector now, well, he's benefiting from lady luck at the moment, but he's also mixed in with that some beautiful shots.
.13 from the over so far. 1 ball to come. Rodgill, well, he sends this one high. Kruger settles himself underneath, and finally a catch goes to the hands of one of the Munster Reds fielders. Josh Manley, after an eventful over, takes the first wicket for his team as Lightning lose their first on 30.
Well, Rodgill, he probably was feeling the pressure of having been there from the start. He wanted to get on with it. Finally got one he thought he could take on. But he departs for 5 off 7 deliveries, or 8 deliveries. And he makes his way to the sideline. He really did try to power that one, but all he could do, you'll see here, Manley picking up his first wicket, as it was just a swipe at the ball, and it went straight up in the air. And Kruger, well, he was well settled, and he wasn't going to miss that one. And the first wicket goes down, 30 on the board.
Christopher Freitas out at number 3 for Leinster Lightning. You could see Rodgill had shimmied across his stumps there. He wanted to hit it into the leg side. Manley kept it outside off, and Rodgill didn't adjust his planning, so it ended up just prodding at it somewhat. It was the end of the over. 1 for 17 for Josh Manley now. Liam McCarthy will bowl his second over from the nursery end. 130 more required for Leinster Lightning to win this game. You feel like Munster Reds will need to keep on taking wickets with regularity, because the Leinster Lightning batters scoring with relative ease. There's also a lot of extras being bowled by the Munster Reds that could be costly. Great delivery to start as Tim Tector's outside edge is beaten. We do have a change in the field. Cover has come in, and the 2 fielders on the leg side on the boundary, mid-wicket and square leg. So lots of singles on offer for Tim Tector in the leg side, but not on the offside.
Tim Tector's been so positive so far this season. It's the way he plays. He'll be looking to puncture that offside field.
Well, it doesn't matter if you put the fielders on the leg side if you're going to bowl short and down leg, because Tim Tector just helped that one around the corner for an easy 4 runs.
Well, the Munster seamers did leak a few runs yesterday. The difference yesterday was between them. Took 6 wickets. It's the 1 wicket fallen so far, and the runs, well, they're flowing.
Leinster Lightning were 45 for 1, I think, and then lost 5 wickets for about 20 runs. They'll be hoping for the same again here, Munster Reds. The straighter, fuller one. Tim Tector can't find the gap.
Good bit of chirp in the field now. Munster keen to defend this 159 they put up. They'd like nothing more than to walk away with Sydney Parade with 2 wins under their belt.
Another short delivery sent forward of the fielder mid-wicket. Chris de Freitas really quick between the wickets. He'll come back for a second as Mike Frost cuts that one off. Mid-wicket comes in now. Cover goes back out, so a change in plan for Liam McCarthy. Big inside edge, Tim Tector. Well, we saw plenty of these in the Munster Reds innings, and Leinster Lightning getting in on the act as well now. 12 runs from the over, an expensive one from McCarthy.
Well, McCarthy, it's unfortunate here not to pick up one. Tim Tector getting enough of an inside edge to bring it back past all 3 stumps. And may I suggest he buys a lottery ticket tonight. Bit fortunate, 4 more onto the total.
Sorry, there's only 10 so far from the over, 1 delivery remaining. And Tim Tector will keep the strike as he takes McCarthy for 11 in that one. And after 4 overs, Leinster Lightning 41 for 1.
Well, if you'd asked the Leinster Lightning leadership group before this innings, that's exactly what they would have been looking for. Going along at a great rate. Just 120 required now. Still a long way away, but they've put in a good solid stint here. 41 for 1. Has them slightly ahead of the game.
Tim Tector 26 from 17. Some good looking shots in there, but a few streaky ones as well. He's was dropped on 6. How costly will that become? It's costing 20 so far for Munster Reds. Changing the bowling now from the St John's end. Mike Frost, the left arm spinner, coming on inside the power play. Deep square and cover out on the boundary. Tim Tector giving himself room. Takes a single out to the offside. De Freitas, the left-hander, facing up now for his first delivery of the day.
Well, the left-hand, right-hand combination, of course, will necessitate plenty of changes in the field each time a single is taken.
I think this early on in the game, because only 2 are allowed out, it's not quite as frantic as it might be later on when there are 5 fielders out. 5 on the offside, 4 on the leg. Coming over the wicket now is Mike Frost.
Nice easy single for De Freitas, just pushing it out on the offside, taking the easy single, brings Tector back on strike.
Hits this one well, finds the gap, does Tim Tector. 6 runs, good looking shot that one, just a bit too full from Mike Frost, and Tim Tector, well, an easy languid swing of the bat.
Nice straight bat, proper cricket shot, and again you notice the batsman doesn't even take a step towards a single. He knew that was going all the way. The fielder signalled the 6. 6 more onto the total.
brave bowling from Mike Frost as he takes all of the pace off that one. Tim Tector going through a number of shots in his mind, I think, before he opted to just push it for a single into the offside. Always difficult as a spinner to bowl in the power play. Just the two fielders laid out. Cover comes in now, long on and mid-wicket, the two fielders back.
The Leinster Lightning have reached a team total of 50.
Well, spears this one in, but great footwork from Christopher Freight as he lifts this one over long off for a second six in the over.
Well, Manley turning to spin very early in the innings inside the power play, as you said. Just the two fielders out, and that one was nowhere near either one of them.
The field that's set with long on and mid-wicket means he has to bowl straight here. Mike Frost pulls his length back and manages to get a dot ball on the final delivery. 15 from that over. The 50 came up inside it as well. 5 overs gone. Leinster Lightning in the driver's seat, 56 for 1.
Well, we're still 1 over at the power play to go. Leinster Lightning certainly well ahead of where the Munster Reds were at that stage. Munster Reds in the power play, 32 for 3. But 2 of those wickets fell with the last 2 balls of the power play. So it will be a change of bowling now at the nursery end. Sabaya Khan is the selected bowler. He made his debut yesterday. Took his first List A wicket yesterday, so I'd say he slept well. He enjoyed that. And looking forward to, again, starring with the ball if he can. His captain would love him to do a job here.
Exciting prospect, but in that game, if there was one flaw, he probably bowled a little bit too full. Can't afford to do that here. Tim Tector has just stepped away. I think someone was still talking when Zubair Khan was running up to bowl there. There's that fuller delivery. Doesn't make clean contact to Tim Tector, but he'll get a single.
And of course, the difference between the 50-over game and the 20-over game, everything condensed in the 20 overs. Bowlers have to think about every single delivery. You can't just bowl an over of your stock delivery and hope to come out of it with a maiden. You know, that's not going to happen in T20.
Pulls the length back on this occasion. Pulled into leg side by Christopher Freitas. A big difference between the two innings that Sam Harbinson and Nick Stapleton had a lot of plays and misses off their bowling in the first 4 overs in particular. With the field that Munster Reds have set, they have to bowl at the stumps third and fine inside the ring, so it means that you'll see the ball be hit a lot more often. Again, it's it high on the bat, Tim Tector, but puts everything into that shot into the leg side. Another couple to the total.
Again, making use of the fact that only 2 players are outside the ring. Even though he didn't get a full contact on it, there was enough contact to get it over the close fielders, and it ran away to the boundary, which always is going to let you get through for 2. But Khan's having a good over.
Well, that wasn't too good from Khan. Lifted over his head with ease, almost with disdain, for another maximum for Tim Tector. Just airing too full on that occasion, Zubair Khan.
See the length of the delivery, allowing Tector to play straight through it. And if it hits the sight screen, you've got to say that's a lovely straight shot.
Well, they've more than doubled the total that Munster Reds set in the power play. It's 32 for 3 they made in their first 6 overs. Leinster Lightning 66 for 1 with 1 ball remaining in that power play.
Munster certainly are going to have to peg Leinster back, whether it's with very tight bowling or wicket-taking bowling. At the moment, they're not really getting much of either.
Well, a rare miss. Play and miss from Tim Tector to close out that Cairn over. The 6 was the blemish in there, 10 runs from it. Power play is finished and Leinster Lightning 66 for 1. The 1 wicket gone is Swapnil Modgill. He went for 5. Tim Tector, the aggressor-in-chief, 43 from 25 for him.
Leinster will be delighted with that start in the power play. When you're chasing 160, they've managed to knock off good size of that. You can see on the worm, firstly, that Munster at this stage had lost 3 wickets. Leinster have only lost 1, but that Leinster line, due to the aggression of Tector especially, well above the Munster line. We'll see how we progress now. It'll be Brandon Kruger now from the St John's end, and I'm joined in the commentary box by John Kenny. Welcome, John.
Thank you very much, Craig. And Isabel will be with us for the last 6 overs if it gets that far. 66 for 1, chasing 160 for victory. Where you saw that worm suggests that Munster did not make enough runs, especially with losing those 2 quick wickets when David Lewis was bowling, or Dylan Lewis was bowling. Tector and so far De Freitas looking very good. De Freitas obviously playing this watching role at the other end as Tector gets about his business, 43 from 25. He's looking very good out there, I must say. Tector, as the Lightning look to win this T20 game.
Well, Leinster undefeated at the festival recently, top of the table. They'd like nothing more than to put another win up.
Cries of 2 maybe. No, that's good fielding. Keeps it to 1. And Frost doing the fielding down there at the boundary. Run rate's well over 10 now at this stage, and the required run rate you can see on your screen there is only 6.7. Plenty of wickets in hand as well.
Yes, Munster really do need a couple of wickets now, get a couple of fresh batsmen in and try and assert some pressure. But at the moment it just seems a little bit too easy for Tector and De Freitas.
Ooh, a little misfielding, maybe right to a run out. Good fielding off his own bowling by the bowler Kruger. Just the 2 singles from this over so far. That's a little tonic for him. Can he get out of here now with something similar over these last 2 deliveries?
Kruger providing exactly what his captain wants, a bit of control. Just those 2 singles coming off the first 5 balls. Lightning won't be too concerned.
Every time I come to Pembroke, there seems to be some kind of work going on. You can hear the saws and whatever going on in the background. It's probably up on the trees, or well, yes, in fact, we can see out of shot. There's 3 or 4 men actually up trees, cutting bits off them to get them ready for the summer. That's the noise in the background. That's a very good over. Just the 2 singles from it from Kruger at the end of 7. 68 for 1, chasing 160 for victory.
Yes, it's a situation of continuous improvement here at Sydney Parade and down Park Avenue. New extensions being built, new signs going up in Pembroke today, all in preparation for the summer ahead. But at the moment, here we are at this interprovincial 20-over trophy, and Tim Tector, well, he's trying to take this game away from Munster as soon as he can. He's moved on to 44 now, been there since the start, and the Lightning 68 for 1. Fraser's just playing himself in as he can afford to, because Tector's going so well and the runs are there. Doesn't have to chase everything.
Carsten McCullough to bowl now from the nursery end to Tector. Just eases it into the offside. We all know, if you're following Irish international cricket, how well his brother Harry is doing inside the top 10 in World T20 batters at the moment. Tim must be knocking on the door of the Irish selectors' minds as well. Maybe not for this World Cup. Certainly they're looking at their 15 that they have already in place going ahead to the Dutch and Scottish games in Amsterdam. The team heading out on Friday. Tim must be under 19 captain of the World Cup not so very long ago. Must be certainly in the selectors' minds at this stage. Left away by De Freitas, just a single.
Yeah, Tector, I mean, weight of runs certainly brings you to the attention of the national selectors, no doubt about that. His slight problem is that he's got the Test captain and the white ball captain as the openers on the T20 side.
Well, isn't this what Irish cricket is looking for? Backup.
Strength in depth.
That's the one. You need them. It's a squad game now. A lot of sports, rugby in particular, is definitely a squad game. Football is becoming that way. Substitutions are usually around the hour mark, usually 3 from each side. So this world sport is changing, no matter what code you're playing. And cricket is no exception. It's difficulty, I suppose, for of those 15 players who will go to the World Cup. Guaranteed that the starting 11 will probably remain the starting 11. Ireland just don't have that strength and depth yet. But with the likes of Tim Tector coming up through the ranks as an opening batsman, more of that, please. Can't keep relying on Sterling and Balbirnie to do the business all the time. Much and all as we'd like to see it.
Well, the more that Tim impresses, it'll put pressure on the selectors to find a spot for him somewhere. First of all in a squad, and then perhaps in a starting 11. But certainly one for the future. The only question being, when will the future get here? So another over gone. 12 gone,
8 gone.
8 gone now. 73 for 1. And once again, Leinster, even with a quiet couple of overs, with no fireworks, they're well ahead of where Munster were at the same stage. And now another change of bowling from the St John's end.
Yeah, good over from McCullough. Previous over yielded just 2 runs. There was just 5 singles from that. But Leinster, as you say, so far ahead in the run rate, they can just afford to take their time and go through a couple of easy mid-innings overs here.
Well, they've had overs with 17 and 13 and 17. So if you get an over with 3, 4 or 5, it's not going to make too much difference. Again, wickets in hand, such an important part of T20.
Like Frost. Swing and a miss from Tector. He's 3 shy of his half century. Just have 30 deliveries so far for that 47. Run rate's dipped below 10, but still plenty in hand. 160, 159 for 8 Munster in their innings. Slow start, got a bit of impetus towards the end of their innings, but it looks like at this stage 160 will not be enough, or 159 will not be enough. A couple of wickets though could change all that.
Yes, how quickly this game can change. And again, it did so for Munster. At the end of that power play, they lost 2 wickets from the last 2 balls of the power play, and they went from quite a strong position, just 1 wicket down to 3 down, and that made a big difference to the middle overs.
I think that beat everybody. Batsman, wicketkeeper et al. Just looking for the signal from Johnny Kennedy. Yes, he has a bye. 1 more to the total. Roddy Black and Johnny Kennedy are 2 standing umpires today. Change in the field now. Frost moving the cover fielder around to around 8 o'clock on the dial. around the wicket. And that should be 50. Got to run through for 2. Is it going all the way to the boundary? Yes. Nice way to get to your half century. Tector on 48. Bowls all the way to the boundary of 33 deliveries. Gets past 50. Tim Tector, 79 for 1. He's laid a very good platform here for victory for the Leinster Lightning if they go on. But a good knock from Tector.
Yeah, that shot sort of epitomised just how good a player he is. He noticed that the sweeper had been brought far straighter. There was a ring of fielders on the offside behind square, but he knew that if he could get it through one of those gaps, it was going to run away. It did. It brought him up his well-deserved 3rd half-century of this IP20 trophy.
Last ball then on the 9th over. 79 for 1.
Oh,
straight through the fielder. Dear, 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 dear. Well, they don't have many runs to play with, but Brandon Kruger let the ball go straight through his legs and dribbles all the way to the boundary for 4. And 4 unwelcome runs from Munster's point of view. And then ends the 9th over, 83 for 1 now.
Well, that turned what was a very good over from Frost into one where 10 were conceded. They can ill afford these overs now. And these two, De Freitas has been the quieter of the two, but he's part of a 50 partnership with Tector. The partnership now worth 53. As we come up to the last over in the first half of this reply from the Leinster Lightning as they chase down 160 for victory. Munster sticking with spin from the nursery end.
De Freitas is doing a good job here. Just giving the strike to the man in form, Tector. Just taking the singles when he can. He's been there for, well, a run of ball really, 12 from 13. Well, Tector's on 56 and 35. He's been the more aggressor of the two, but that's the way you play it. Nice foil for the man in form, the man who's seeing it like a beach ball out there, Tim Tector. And again, in the position they're in, they can take 1s and 2s and hopefully take the bad ball and hit it away for a boundary. And still plenty of batting to come, 9 wickets in hand. So it's a very invidious position that they're in.
Yeah, plenty of big hitters down the order for Leinster, but at the moment they don't need them. Another nice shot from De Freitas. Be another single. He's playing the role of support absolutely perfectly, as you say. Just get off strike, run a ball.
Well, you saw there, he just got an amble down the far end. He didn't take a chance on maybe running the first one fast and coming back for the second. All he wants to do is get Tector on strike. Whips it around the corner. That's another single. There's a man at mid-wicket to cut that off.
Jordan Neal, the boundary rider out there, just keeping it tidy. But again, Munster need to make something happen now. If they continue this way, the game is just drifting away from them. They need wickets.
And no PJ Moore on their side today. No Curtis Camphor, Delaney, Garth Delaney, delays Matt Ford, Tyrone Kane not involved. Leinster Lightning, some of the big hitters are also involved in the Irish team. George Docker, Andy Burney. Fionn Hand has been called up for the Scottish and Dutch games. They're leaving on Friday. He would have been probably here. Josh Little's with the IPL. He too, though, will join up with the squad for the World Cup. Harry Tector, Lorcan Tucker, very strong Leinster Lightning lineup. So basically this is the backup team. 10 down, midway through the reply, 89 for 1. Now Tector's on 59, De Freitas on 14.
Absolutely perfect for the Leinster Lightning. Just measured. Tim Tector dropped on 6, but has ridden his luck. He's made his half-century. Just that 1 wicket to fall so far. And with 10 overs to go, just 71 required. It really is becoming a little bit too easy for the Lightning in the middle.
71 of 60 precisely, isn't it? Yeah, 71 of 60. And not so very long ago, that would have been a tough order, but not anymore. These are big hitters out there. 71 of 60 is a canter, especially with 9 wickets in hand, you would think, but as Craig Senior suggested, things can change. Change of ends now for Zubair Hassan Khan. This is club cricket in Cork Harlequins up near the airport in Cork. The 2 grounds down there, the Mardyke in the city centre, and the other one, the Harlequins, out near the airport.
This is good from Khan.
Good length.
He's got Tector swinging. Very intense couple of days for Zubair Khan. Took his first List A wicket yesterday. Now finds himself trying to do a job for Munster again.
That's a good shot. Dissects those 2 fielders backward of square and all the way to the boundary for 4 more. He's been looking for that shot for the last couple of deliveries. Fine shot, boundary all the way.
Khan trying to hide this one away. It's just not, it's either not wide enough or not tight enough. It was right in the spot for Tector to force it away behind square. Another 4 for him. And he is shooting along. He's 63, Leinster 93.
He'll be fancying 3 figures here, there's no doubt about that. Khan has been expensive. 14 for 1.3 over so far. Tector dances down the track at him. There should be 2. Fielder has to go to his left-hand side to collect, so 2 more to the tally, 2 more to Tector. Takes him to 65 with a score, 95 for 1.
Well, this has been a super innings by Tim Tector.
Oh, he's bowled around his legs. Well, that was unusual. He stepped across his stumps, and then for a second realised to his horror that the ball was being zeroed in on his leg stump. And, well, persistence from Hassan Khan, having been knocked around the place for 16 runs in 1.4 overs. He gets his man. Tector goes for 65, but it's a good knock for him from 43 deliveries, lays the platform. It's 95 for 2 now. We're in the 11th.
Well, Munster needed that, and they needed it badly, and Khan's the one to provide it for them. Tector coming well across his stumps, and the full-length ball getting past the defences and crashing into the leg stump.
Got credit to the bowler there. That was a fine piece of bowling. Saw him stepping across the stumps, bowled it into the leg stump, and as I said to his horror, Tector having to walk with his leg stump being hit. Good credit to the bowler.
Well, a strike rate of over 150 for Tim Tector. He's done a wonderful job for Leinster. He's put them into a very strong position now. Stand of 65 with De Freitas. And I don't think De Freitas has scored that many. Most of it the work of Tim Tector, but De Freitas provided great support. But now he finds himself the senior batsman, the one who's been in for a while. He's probably going to have to change gear a little. But the captain, Sam Harbison of the Merrion Club, he now has come out to the middle.
Good end to that. Over from Khan. He got a wicket from it. The boundary in a 2, and then the wicket. And so that ends his second over. 1 for 16 for Hassan Khan. 95 for 2 at the end of 11.
Well, despite the loss of Tim Tector, Favourites still have to be the Leinster Lightning. They just need 65 runs now, 9 overs to get them in. Manley has tried spin, he's tried pace, and he's just mixing it up now, trying to pick out the right key for the locket that is the Leinster Lightning batting lineup.
So we've Brandon Kruger now to bowl from the nursery end. So a couple of overs for him already. Switching ends, Kruger. De Freitas on 14. Harms has just joined him after the dismissal of Tim Tector. That's a nice shot into the covers. Can they cut that off? Yeah, that's good fielding down that well initially. I thought the fielder down there was going to keep it in, but just too much power, too much pace on it. And all he could do is push it over the boundary ropes for 4.
Well, cracking shot from De Freitas, and perhaps a sign that he realises he's now the senior partner. He's had a few overs in which to see the bowling.
Good attempt from Jordan Neal. Didn't quite come off.
Well, there's certainly no lack of commitment in the field. We saw in both innings, yesterday and today, there have been a couple of misfields, but by and large...
Whew, that's gone straight through everybody. That should trundle away, despite the fielder's vain attempts. That's nothing worse than that feeling as the ball runs away from you. You just think, I'm going to get there, and then suddenly it just rolls over the boundary rope to take Leinster Lightning into 3 figures.
Well, as you saw, not where De Freitas was trying to hit it, came off his pad instead, and it, as John says, it's one of those ones that just keeps the fielder interested the whole time, and yet still just trundles over the rope.
Well, after the dismissal of Tector, you can see what De Freitas is doing out there. He said, okay, I was the one who stood at the other end and watched you plunder the bowling. Now it's my turn to take the initiative, score the runs, while I've got a new man at the other end. So Harbison has suggested, even though he's the captain, should be handing over the strike as much as he possibly can now to De Freitas, who's gone to 19 from 18 deliveries. It doesn't sound a lot, but in the context of the game, it's the right thing to do. Just take the ones, give the batting to Tector, took himself past the half century and has laid a very good basis here. Harbison down the track he comes.
Not the delivery he was looking for. Squirted off the side of the bat. But yes. We have said it time and time again here at Sydney Parade. If you can spend a little bit of time in the middle, the game gets an awful lot easier for a batsman. It's the batsmen who try to get going too early, and that's where De Freitas was most fortunate in that his partner was doing such a good job. He could play himself in without really dropping the run rate.
A low full toss to end that over from Kruger. That was a decent over. That 4 runs you saw at the start there were buys. Anyway, 105 for 2 now at the end of 12. De Freitas on 19. Harbison just a single to his name. Can to continue from the St. John's end.
It's one of the strange things about cricket. You can smack one out to the boundary like that, and it will get you as many runs as the one you just drop off your hip on the leg side. Cracking shot from Harbison, but there was a fielder there.
So left and right combination now out there. That means a force of change in the field. If they're kicking at ones, they'll be chopping and changing all the time. And the umpires have to change, of course, from one square leg position to the other. Round the wicket he comes. Can. Worked behind square on the leg side for another single for De Freitas.
It's the best way for the umpire to get their steps in for the day. Left hand, right hand combination. Means they're having to
there you go.
Look at
that.
that.
He's Oh, Rolly Black showing that he's even running backwards. He can't even see. You can't see it at the screen, but he's running backwards. Nice jog there. Obviously keeps himself fit. Slower ball, just paddled around into the leg side. Batsman did well there, actually. Just readjust his line.
Yes, the shot that Harbison had in his mind before that delivery was not the shot he played, but he waited, and it was his waiting that was so good. And that's enabled him then to play the ball away, pick up another single, get Christopher back on strike.
Big, tall, athletic young man, isn't he? Can.
Yeah, you get the feeling that there's a bit of filling out to come, a bit of more strength perhaps, and he could in fact end up being even quicker in years to come. But he's doing a fine job.
He's come back well, and he got the wicket detector. He was expensive in his first couple of overs, but there you go, 3 dot balls. See if he can get out of the over here now with 2 to go.
As a bowler, he won't mind the single. Now, Munster don't have too many runs which play with, but 4 singles from the over. And again, the delight for the young man taking the vital wicket of Tim Tector. It's got to put a bounce into your step.
Last ball then of the 13th over. Single from it, so Harbison will keep the strike. Thanks to Craig Senior for his contribution. Former Irish captain, now turned broadcaster. Isabel Joyce is going to join me for the last 7 overs if it gets that far. At the end of 13, chasing 160 for victory, Leinster Lightning 110 for 2. DeFreitas 21, Harbison currently on 4. Isabel, welcome back. As the sun goes out.
Yeah, just nipped out to get a bit of sunshine on the skin. We're in the shade here. And it looks like Leinster Lightning have things in hand for now. Is there another twist in the tail? Tim Tector dropped on 6, cost Munster Reds dearly. He scored another 59 after that drop, so they could come to the end of this game and wonder what if.
Certainly was the more aggressive of the two between himself and DeFreitas, 65. But Tector scored the vast majority of those runs as DeFreitas had a watching brief at the other end. He still only scored 21 from 21, but that was in the context of the game. Trying to keep company with Tector. Harbison on 4 from 7, but there are plenty of wickets in hand. Loud appeal, not given.
Clever change in pace from Carson McCullough there. Just held it back somewhat, and DeFreitas looking to sweep through the shot too early. Looks like it would have hit him outside the line. Umpire Roddy Black says not out.
This time down the track he goes for a single down to long on. Leinster Lightning top of the table coming in here after their wins in the festival here at Pembroke to open up the series. That's gone all the way for 4. That's nicely timed from Harbison. Just leant into it, straight down the ground. 2 fielders down there, close enough to the ball, couldn't cut it off.
Yeah, good looking shot this from Harbison. Good footwork. It was slightly aerial for a second, but good power. Manages to miss the stumps, so gets full reward. Yes, all 4 teams have played 3 games in the Interprovincial T20 Trophy. Warriors at the bottom, they haven't won one yet. Reds with 5 points, Knights with 10, Lightning with 14 before today.
Another single to the total to end that, the 14th over. 117 for 2 now. DeFreitas on 23, Harbinson on 10. 43 required now from 36. With 8 wickets in hand, it should be a coast to the finish. Depends on how quickly they want to get these runs, I suppose.
Yeah, there's two ways of going about it. Just keep on ticking them away and use all of your overs, or do you try and have a big over? You have to pick maybe a bowler that you're going to attack and try and have a big over against them. Liam McCarthy, well, he'll change ends and bowl from the St. John's end. Very much his preferred end to bowl at, but Josh Manley manages to take the end in the opening spell, so both of those bowlers will probably finish out from the St. John's end. Everyone else will find themselves bowling from the nursery end,
which is the far end of the ground as we're looking at it. So St. John's end is at the commentary box end, where McCarthy is coming in to bowl now. Well, a good start with the change of ends, right on the money. Sun has disappeared for the time being. Still nice and warm here, though. No threat of rain. A few clouds overhead, a blanket of cloud, really. But no threat of rain. And we'll get through this game, no problem. Normally these games start a little bit later in the afternoon. Maybe somebody's looking at the weather forecast and decided to start at 12 o'clock. That's been a good move. Oh, it's put down. Harbinson survives. Cries of catch. One-handed effort. And it's been put down.
Well, he seemed to hang in the air for an age, did Josh Manley, the captain. Harbinson looking to go over extra cover. Didn't quite get the connection. A little bit high on the bat. And, well, he got some hand on it, but it just didn't quite stick for Josh Manley. So Harbinson gets a life as well.
It was hit hard. Difficult chance, one-handed. McCarthy asking for a change in the field. Bringing up the third man into the circle. And dropping mid-off, I should say, into long off.
Just a slight correction to something I said earlier. There's actually the Knights and the Warriors played a T20 last week. Warriors winning that one.
Yeah.
So they're on 4 points and they're ahead of the Munster Reds on net run rate. So it's actually the Munster Reds who are in bottom place. Leinster Lightning out in front with 14 ahead of the Northern Knights.
Tries to catch it. It's going to drop short, though. Domgard doing the fielding.
Well, Leinster Lightning have won all of their games so far chasing, so it's obviously what they prefer to do. Munster Reds were the ones who won the toss and elected to bat, but the Lightning wouldn't have been too unhappy with being told they had to bowl first. With that record, they won with 6 wickets, 8 wickets and 5 wickets in hand in those 3 matches.
There's a man out there. Just the 2 singles from that over from McCarthy. Lightning has to bowl. Argue just the 5 runs from his 8 deliveries. Great overs, and a result from Tim Tector's point of view, 43 balls to make his 65. DeFreitas was a watching brief at the other end. He's now moved on to 23 from 24. Run a ball pretty much. Harbison at the other end, 11 from 16. And still batting to come, you can see. And here's the bowling card.
Well, Manley getting the early wicket, 1 for 17 from 2 for him. Hassan Khan claiming the wicket of Tim Tector, who made a well struck 65 from 43. 6 bowlers used in all, and the most miserly Kruger, just the 8 runs from his 2 overs. It's going to be Hassan Khan, who changes ends again. He's being asked to bowl from the nursery end, the tall medium pacer.
That was a bit wild. A wide signal by Rory Black at the other end. Trying to adjust his line and length, having switched ends. Ball seems to just fly out of his hands. Free hit to come.
Well, the innings has stalled somewhat in the last few overs. 5-7.
Not a wide and no ball, my apologies.
So yeah, free hit coming. 5-7 and 2 in the last 3 overs. Can this kickstart the innings again for Leinster Lightning?
Again, it's a full toss, but this time it's dispatched. So they've taken full use of the free ball, the free hit. And it's gone all the way to the boundaries for 4 more to De Freitas. And this may be the time, the opportunity, as Isabel alluded to, where De Freitas decides to open up the shoulders and start scoring the runs and get them closer to that 160 total.
Well, it's very close to another no ball and or a wide. So something just not comfortable for Zubair Khan. Mid off goes out to long off, cover is out, third comes up inside the ring, as does fine leg. He follows up 2 full tosses with another full toss. He's getting closer to the ground now, though.
There's McCullough on your screen, but I can tell you it is Khan who's bowling. 7 on his back. From the far end, as Isabel said, switching ends. Thought I bowled all right from the St. John's end in his first couple of overs, but obviously the switch has not quite worked for him so far.
Well, it gives you an idea of who the senior players are, who gets to bowl out of the fast bowlers from the St. John's end.
It's that famous ridge, isn't it? That's what they're looking to hit.
Absolutely, and Zubair Khan, quite a tall guy, so if he can hit that ridge, he does get a good bit of bounce out of it.
Johnny Kennedy, the umpire, having to run across it. Doesn't look quite as fit as Rory Black. Rory Black was running backwards at one stage at the far end. That's about a delivery up in the block hole, but they have to squeeze out a single, and again Johnny Kennedy has to move from one side to the other. You'll see him, there he is. Jogging across, bits of flannel and everything hanging out of his pocket at the back there.
Wonder, could we have an umpire's fitness off? Who'd win the running test?
Well, you were far too young to remember. Or Dickie Bird, you would have heard of him. And of course, the umpire, famous umpire, that's up and over his head, and that's gone all the way to the boundary for 4. Dickie used to have about 6 or 7 white jerseys on him, about 4 hats back in those days. That was a nice flick over the head from Harbison. Another 4 to the Leinster total.
A good ramp shot this from Harbison. Gets in a good position, gets his head in line as well, and manages to get it over the wicketkeeper's head. He has been struggling to get good connection on the ball, Harbison, so decides to go to some inventive batting.
Oh, that was inventive as well. Up on his toes, decided he was going to charge, then stepped back and cracked it into the offside for a single.
Well, that's the problem with deciding before the ball's bowled that you're going to dance down a slower delivery. He does get the single off it to close out.
$132 for 2 now after 16, 159 for 8. 28 runs now off 24 balls. It's basically a run of ball with 8 wickets in hand.
That no ball at the beginning of that over, so costly for Zubair Khan. The no ball and then the free hit.
Which yielded 4 as well.
Yeah, so 5 from that first delivery, and then that ramp shot from Sam Harbison means it was an expensive over, 13 from it. After a couple of tight overs, Munster Reds just letting the pressure off somewhat.
Josh Manley's brought himself on from the commentary box end now. I might talk about two here. They're going to take on the bowler's hands there, and then they claim for a run out, but good running between these two. And to play this quickly to the danger end, and they turned 1 into 2.
Yeah, have a look at this turn by De Freitas. He's in and out very quickly. He's very fast across the ground, and the throw, well, it needed to be, probably needed to hit or be within a few centimetres of the stumps for De Freitas to be in trouble. It takes longer than you think to move the ball from that kind of height down to the stumps.
Correct. And straight down the throat of Damgard. And that's the end of Harbinson. Third wicket falls. So the score 134. Didn't get much of that, unfortunately. Easy catch in the end for the Dutchman. 134 now for 3. That's the end of Harbinson. He's gone for 19.
Well, he neither went up nor went down, Harbinson. That in-between height is always a danger. Needed to either go underneath the ball or hit it down into the ground, but he just went through the shot. That extra bit of bounce means it went straight into Damgard, into the big mitts of the Danishman. And, well, they're in touching distance. Leinster Lightning, they lose their third, 134 for 3.
I call him Dutch, he is Danish. 134 for 3, as I say, in the 17th. That just may slow down the momentum just a little bit. Harbinson gone now for 19 from 21 deliveries. Lasted 22 minutes in the middle. Gavin Hoey playing in his home ground as the new batter. With Leinster inside of victory here, but they've just lost another wicket. Munster trying to keep this bowling as tight as they possibly can to give themselves an outside chance of a win. And this could be 2 from 2. And he's caught it, and he's on a hat-trick. Well, that's a better catch than the previous one. He had to dive forward, Damgard, and Hoey lasts just the one delivery. And suddenly Munster are in this game. It can change like that.
It's almost an identical strike from Gavin Hoey. Baseball strike down the ground does for the Pembroke all-rounder. Bangs this one into the pitch, does Manley. And hits high on the bat. Good catch from Damgard in mid-off. Had to make some ground forward. Managed to get the fingers underneath. So Ho goes for none. He was out there for 1 minute. And Leinster Lightning lose their fourth, 134 for 4.
It's a hat-trick ball. How much Sidhu? Is it? No. And Seamus Lynch, who's in now. Plays his club cricket for Terranure. And he's got to survive this one ball at least to deny Josh Manley, the Munster captain, a hat-trick. Close of catch it. Well, they won't catch that. It's gone all the way for 6.
Well, it looked like he was in the game for a while there. Brandon Kruger, I think it is, who's down at fine leg. Made his way around to his left. It's quite a short hit down towards the clubhouse. Angled at the body, helped on its way by Seamus Lynch. Just about goes over the fence. And Josh Manley, well, he put his hands to his head, but instead of a hat-trick, he goes for 6.
Interesting over. 2 wicket 6. 140 for 4. 20 needed. And Lynch does a sensible thing, having hit the previous ball for 6, just rolls the ball into the offside for a single.
A great player to have coming out at number 6 for Leinster Lightning, because he can be such a damaging player. He's an attacking batsman. If he's out there for 15, 20 deliveries, then the score should shoot up.
So, run of ball needed, 19 from 19. Despite the loss of those 2 wickets, it's still very much in the Leinster Lightning's hands to go on and win this. And add to the points at the top of the table. Swing and a miss. That ends that Manly over. 3 for 26 from his 3 overs. End of 17. 3 to go. 141 for 4. 19 needed.
Well, the 2 wickets, but 9 valuable runs in that over. Tim Tector, well, he was dropped on 6, made it up to 65. De Freitas is going well to run a ball, 29 from 29 deliveries. Harbinson never looked fluent, truth be told, 19 from 21 for him. And Howie, well, just lasted the 1 delivery as he holed out to mid-off. Damgard taking 2 good catches. Lynch now out in the middle, 7 from 2. Hit his first ball for 6. He's out there with De Freitas as Leinster Lightning need 19 in the final 3 overs for victory. Liam McCarthy now coming on again from the nursery end.
No, it's not over yet. They still have to get these runs.
His last over only went for 2.
Well, this one is pumped down the ground. There's a man down there. Oh, dear, 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 dear. They got there all right, but it's gone straight through the hands of Ben Callets, is it? Yeah, he should have caught that.
Well, 2 full, but he almost got the wicket of Seamus Lynch. He looks to go long early. Callets jumped at the last second there, and I think that's probably what did for him, because it wasn't needed. He was on the move, which is always difficult to take those catches, and instead of grabbing his hands around it, he's sent it over the boundary for 6.
That wasn't good fielding. This is in the air as well. It's gone for another 6, and they've decided, Leinster now, just to get on with it. Lynch in particular is very good. That's his 3rd maximum since he arrived at the crease. Remember, he was on a hat-trick ball this time. Lovely shot.
This is the best 6 of the lot. Clears the front leg. And look at those wrists through the ball. It's not a small hit, that one. Easily over the hoardings. Bounces off the wall and into the fielder's hand. 3 sixes in 4 deliveries. So he's looking to finish this one quickly for Leinster Lightning.
Oh, Seamus Lynch must be on a promise for something this afternoon. He's getting on with it pretty quickly. He's got the 6 in the previous delivery, now takes a single.
I think Seamus Lynch is always on a promise, if that's the case, because he always seems to be in a rush.
Getting a little gloomier here at Pembroke, but no problems of rain or anything, and we've only got a 2.3 overs to go anyway, so it'll be wrapped up pretty quickly. De Freitas is still there, 29 of 29, did his job to this point. McCarthy pumped for 2 sixes in this over, 1 unfortunate. This one he tries to ramp.
Interesting choice at this point in the game. De Freitas looking to ramp the ball, probably not needed. McCarthy bowling his final over. You'd imagine Manly will bowl the next over should it get there. And actually, Munster Reds were going to have to search around for who was going to bowl the final over, because they've bowled out their death bowlers 1 over early.
Trying to hunt down more wickets. Just hasn't quite worked out for them. Just a single. Penultimate ball of that, the 18th over.
Yeah, any chance for Munster Reds went with that drop catch, didn't it, down at long off. Ben Callets, who was top scorer for Munster Reds in the first innings, 54 from 40. Didn't manage to take the catch that could have given them a glimmer of hope.
Such the small margins. Last ball then of over number 18. McCarthy has been a little expensive. It is 3.5 today, 34. And so far, he's yielded 14 runs from this over. Make that 15 to wrap up that the 18th over. 156 for 4 now. Closing in on victory. Just 14 needed. Or 4 needed, I'm going to say 4 needed.
Yeah, one hit away.
156.
One hit away, Leinster Lightning. Seamus Lynch on strike. I'm sure he'll challenge himself to see if he can do it in one hit. 21 from 6 deliveries for him. It's to keep the Leinster Lightning in an unbeaten run so far in this IP20 trophy. And Josh Manley will bowl the 19th and most likely final over, but if he can get a few wickets, a few dot balls, then he'll force Leinster Lightning into the last over.
Unlikely. 4 to win. 12 runs, 12 balls remaining. This one lofty blow would be enough to keep Leinster unbeaten in the T20 series. That's one way to get it. He was trying to flip it behind his shoulder, went straight up in the air, and luckily from his point of view, no fielder down there, so single closer to the total.
And I think that's a cue end because he's got through the shot so early. Manley taking the pace off. Smart bowling when you've got a player like Seamus Lynch, especially when they come out the traps that quickly. They just want to keep swinging, so drew the false shot, but no fielder there to take the catch. De Freitas now has the opportunity to finish the game for Lightning.
Won't quite do it with that one. There's a man down there, so 2 needed now. Huge contrast between these two. Lynch 22 from 7. De Freitas 31 from 32. But while Tim Tector was there, he was the man to be the anchor for the foil. That was Tim Tector. And that's that. A massive 6 to end. And Lynch takes the score to 28. And victory for the Leinster Lightning.
Well, that's the biggest 6 of the lot by a long shot. Lynch heaving this one over the leg side. A sweet connection. Manley, well, he took 3 wickets for the Munster Reds, who went for 34. And it's victory inside the 18th over. They had 9 balls and 6 wickets in hand, Leinster Lightning, as the bowlers early on did the damage for Leinster Lightning and the batters backed them up.
Yeah, not a bad game, but from a long way out, felt that Leinster were always in control of this match. Munster lost early wickets in the mid-innings. They had to rebuild. Good knock from Carston McCullough. In the end, it's a 6-wicket victory for Leinster Lightning, and they remain unbeaten. The Reds, who won the toss earlier on today, backed themselves, win at the bat and made 159 for 8, but in reply of 18.3 overs, 164 for 4, and a 6-wicket victory for the Leinster Lightning in the Interprovincial Trophy Series IP20. Lightning remained unbeaten, and from a long way out, they looked like victors, didn't they?
Absolutely. There's the captain, Sam Harbinson, at the front there for Leinster Lightning. He bowled well at the top of the innings for the Lightning, along with Nick Stapleton. And Dylan Luce came in today, took 2 wickets late on in the power play that were valuable for Leinster Lightning, put the brakes on the Munster Reds innings. 49 runs added in the final 5 overs of that Munster Reds total setting. That helped them get up to 160. It felt like a competitive total, but Tim Tector, he got Leinster off to a great start, and then the batters all coming in behind, especially Seamus Lynch, helped Leinster to an easy victory in the end.
Well, the Reds, and this was their card, Callets with that 54, helped them to that total. Downguard 27 is the bowling figures.
Yeah, the batting
Figures,
reply.
should say, reply.
Tector 65 from 43. De Freitas, well, he just knocked the ball around, 31 from 32, and then Lynch aggressive at the end, 28 from 8 deliveries. Yes, you're reading that correctly, as he struck 4 maximums in that entertaining innings to close things out for Leinster Lightning.
That's the card again from the Reds, 54 from Callets. Neil with 33. Might get some bowling figures here, will we? There we go. Lightning.
7 bowlers used. Wickets were shared around. Harbinson took 2 and only went for 11 runs in 3. But Dylan Luce was the best bowler of the day. 3 for 24 from 3 for him, and 1 for 14 from Sidhu. How he got a wicket as well.
He. It's the Leinster batting card. Tector 65 from 43. DeFreitas, his partner in crime, unbeaten on 31. And a really good knock from Lynch. 28. 4 maximums in that from just 8 deliveries, and he took them over the line.
6 bowlers again from Munster Reds. 3 wickets for Manley, who's had a good few days. 7 wickets over the 2 days for him. 1 for Hassan Khan, who was expensive. He went for 34 in his 4. And other than that, the bowlers were wicketless. Kruger only went for 8 in his 2 overs. He'll be pleased with that day's work.
So here's your match summary then. Munster Reds won the toss, batted, made 159 for 8. Leinster Lightning, they reached that target of 18.3 overs. Tector, highest score of the day of 65 of 43, helps them to victory by 6 wickets. Hope you enjoyed our coverage from Pembroke in this T20 game. Next Tuesday, IP20 is the Warriors against the Leinster Lightning as the whole circus moves to Breedy. We will have full coverage of that on the Cricket Ireland YouTube channel. From Craig Senior, from Isabel Joyce and me, John Kenny, it's bye for now.